evening, racing fans. Welcome to racing action from Grand River Raceway for this Monday evening in beautiful Elora, Ontario. Track condition will be listed as fast, and the temperature will be recorded for the evening as 19 degrees Celsius. Let's get a look at the changes on this evening's card as we're about 20 minutes to post time to race number one. Note in race number one, number two, Mulligan Philly, the driver will be Scott Coulter. Scott Coulter drives the two. And number four, Zeb's Breaking Dawn, the driver is going to be James McDonald. James McDonald will drive for Zeb's Breaking Dawn. In race number two, number four, Single to Mingle, the driver will be Blair Burgess. Blair Burgess will drive for Single to Mingle. Scratch is a 5, go where it leads, and 8, Ace 44 Rio, scratch 5 and 8. Races 3 and 4 have no changes. No changes, races 3 or 4. In race number 5, Shea Sealster, the driver is going to be Larry Small. Larry Small will drive 5, Shea Sealster in the 5th. In race number 6, note that number 5, Some Wicked, driven by Blair Burgess. Blair Burgess will drive. Scratched is number 6, Stem the Tide. Race 6 scratch, number 6, Stem the Tide. Races 7, 8, and 9 have no changes. No changes races 7, 8, or 9, which of course means there is a change in race number 10. Number 4, Rose Run Vortex, driver to be announced, TBA on the 4. And number 8, Hervé Hanover is scratch. Number 8, Hervé Hanover. Once again, reviewing races 1 and 2. Race 1, Scott Coulter drives to Mulligan Philly, and 4, Zeb's Breaking Dawn, James McDonald. And in race number 2, 4, Single to Mingle, Blair Burgess will drive and scratches a 5, go wherever it leads, and 8, Ace 44 Rio. It is now approximately 17 minutes to post time for our first dash, and time to welcome in my co-host and our handicapping expert, Robert Reed Jr. How are you doing, Rob?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic, Gary. It was a great weekend. Hope everyone had a great weekend out there. Jam-packed weekend of harness racing action. Of course, they had Hamiltonian eliminations south of the border at the Meadowlands, and there was all kinds of carryovers happening at harness racing tracks across the province as well. So it was a real busy weekend for yours truly, and I'm sure many others. But hey, it's Monday, and tonight's very special because we've got the eliminations for our signature races, the Battle of Waterloo and the Battle of the Bells, both which will take place. It's hard to believe just 1 week from today on Industry Day. So time flies when you're having fun, right? And this season has certainly flown by, and it's almost time for that day, which is to me one of the best days in all of harness racing. If you are able to make it to the track, make sure you do, and if you can't, make sure you tune in from home. But we've got top drivers, trainers, and 2-year-olds here tonight that will be vying for spots in the finals of those dashes, and it promises to be a great card from start to finish. Of course, that real value-filled wager to kick off the card, the early pick 5, low takeout 15%, guaranteed pool $5,000. And Gary and I will break that down for you in about 8 minutes to post.
And we do have a driver change in race number 1. Now on number 8, Matthews Rita. Jody Jamison will drive 8, Matthews Rita, race 1.
8 minutes to post till the opener here at Grand River Raceway on a magnificent Monday, featuring eliminations for both the Battle of Waterloo and the Battle of the Bells. Lots of 2-year-old action throughout the card as well. But let's kick it off by looking at the early pick five guaranteed pool. $5,000 low takeout, 15%. Gary and I always map out our suggested tickets for you, and there's mine right there, and had to make a couple of late adjustments based on some of the changes that came in. So now I'm going to start off with a 3, 4, and 7 here in the opening dash. I think that there's some intriguing things happening with Sirius Sealster, Doug McNair aboard, and Zeb's Breaking Down will now have James McDonald aboard, which is a very significant change on that one. 6-1 currently, good price on that one right now. And the 7, Miss Do Right, who's done nothing wrong and starts from the 7 hole again. That's 4 in a row for Miss Do Right from post 7. Race number 2, too deep for me with the 1 and 2 DA Cinnamon Crunch and the 2 Mickey's Duchess, who is a first-time starter for Greg McNair. Race 3, that's the first elimination for the Battle of the Bells. Too deep in there for me. The 1 Wicked Weather and the 3 Collusion Hanover. Couldn't really separate these two. I think there's not much between them. Both their victories this season have been very impressive. And Collusion Hanover last time, did try gold competition out. I thought raced relatively well in there. Wicked Weather tried that a little earlier on in the season, and I thought, raced pretty decent as well after being overland for part of the trip. So too deep in there for me with the 1 and 3. Race 4, that's my single, the 3. Pass line, hard to go against this filly. She started off her career 3 for 3. Fell to defeat last time, but I thought still raced pretty well, finishing third, just beaten by half a length to odds on platinum and an OSS gold. She is already an OSS gold winner. I think she's the clear one to beat in there, so we're going to single up on her. And then in race number 5, the money leg, well, that's where we're spreading out. I think that, the 2 Rose Run Yvette has raced really well in both of her 2 first career starts, but I thought there was some other places you want to add some horses as well. So I added the 3 No Place to Hide, the 4 Geminar, and the 6 and 7 Country Charm, the 6, another horse, first time James McDonald. That horse should be a pretty big bomb in that money leg. And the 7 on top, Are You Elegant? So 5 deep for me in the money leg. $12 is the cost for a 20-cent ticket. But let's see what Gary Guy has in store for us tonight.
Well, I didn't spend quite as much as you. In fact, $5.40. I got a couple of keys. And race number 1, where we have the same 3, but you added one, and of course you added Zeb's Breaking Dawn, which James McDonald added. So, of course, that's very logical. And in the second race, I just went alone with DA Cinnamon Crunch, and you do have 1 extra in there. Third race, I have the 1, 3, and 6. I do think the 1 and 3 are the 2 main ones in there, but I added 6 Raffle Winner. Just taking a flyer on Raffle Winner as well. Race number 4, well, we both agree that Pass Line might not get passed. And in the 5th race, I only have 3 of them in there, 2, 3, and 4. So that's why I didn't spend quite as much. I'm going to maybe save some for later on. $5.40, Rob.
Well, there you go. But we do have quite a few combinations, Gary, that both get us to the finish line tonight. 18 of them. So 18 for me and Gary. There's Conley's ticket. Conley's going too deep here in the opener. Probably not privy to that driver change in the 4. Zeb's Breaking Dawn, so he's got the 3 and 7. But I have a sneaking suspicion he'd add in that mare as well, given that information that came in and the changes. Race 2 too deep with the 1 and 6, so he's adding in the 6 all Racy, who does already have a start over this service, and it was a pretty good one, a 3rd place finish at that. Race 3, he's going 3 deep with the 1, 3, and 4, so he's adding in the 4 How Much. In a race that I thought it was going to be contested between the 1 and 3. Singling up in the 3 Pass Lane, we're all loving that one tonight. Apparently, all of us singling that one, and then just the 2 and 3 in the money leg for him. Which again, 2 horses that both Gary and I have on our tickets as well. So there you have it. Conley's ticket, $4.80. 3 minutes away until he'll be coming out onto the track for the opening dash of the evening. Again, great night of racing ahead of us, folks, with the eliminations for the Battle of Waterloo and the Battle of the Bells. You want to get your wagers in for this early pick 5, $5,000 guaranteed pool, low takeout 15%. We'll come back, take a closer look at the opening dash in just a few moments.
Field 4, race 1 on parade 1. Sweet Molly, Jason Ryan for Marie Helene DuPont. And number 2 is Mulligan Phillies, Scott Quilvergate, Baron Duncan, and Shirley Boston, Mario Hebert. Number 3 is Siri Silster, Doug McNair for Ben Wallace, and Wallace Standardbreds, and Terry Krawick. 4 is Seb's Breaking Dawn, James McDonough for Chris Rogers, and Doug High. Number 5, Sky Velocity, Paul McKenzie for Gary McDonald. And number 6, True That, Bo Brown for Tisha Symes and Jeffrey Webster. And number 7 is Miss Do Right, Samuel Filioff for Eric Nadeau and Gaston Bibo. And 8, Matthews Rita, Jody Jameson for Lori LePage and Rebecca Williamson. And 9 is Stonebridge Fib, Brett McDonough for Richard Rowan, John Marshall, and Robin Cassidy. Field of 9, race number 1, an interesting start to the program, Rob. And when we got here, we saw the driver changes. And, well, I originally had 7 Miss Do Right, and you had 3 Siri Sealster. But now there's been kind of a last-minute adjustment. Fill us in.
Yeah, there has been. I mean, you get James McDonald, right? The two-time back-to-back O'Brien Award winner aboard now. The 4 Zeb's Breaking Dawn. You know, we mentioned after the race last time. You know, trainer Chris Rogers was aboard, and it was his first victory in like 20 years, right? So long time between drinks for him driving one of the winner's circle, and now you get James McDonald aboard. So it's almost got to be an automatic play, Gary. And I know that she's stepping up in class. I thought she was good enough to use. Prior to that, especially for a piece of it in the exotics, and now you get James aboard on a horse that her confidence should be sky high. She's been racing great leading up to that victory as well. It only improves her chances. I'm actually shocked she's 9-1 right now. I thought that would elicit a lot of action. Might still see some more come post time, but I think she's worth a play in here.
Well, sometimes people just don't pick up on the driver change. And while I liked her well enough to back her last time out in tougher, but certainly the driver change makes it more interesting. Love to hold on to 9-1. Don't think we'll be able to do that. 3 Siri Sealster, though, is one that certainly has to be a serious player here with Doug McNair.
Yeah, it does for sure, and that's why I originally had her on top. I think Doug's going to suit her very well. I mean, she's a horse that's fast off the gate already, and Doug McNair, very few drivers create speed off the switch like Doug can do, and I think that we're going to see that tonight from Post 3 from Siri Sealster, and her best efforts have obviously been on the engine. She did get picked up last time by Miss Do Right, but she made a big move to the lead in the middle half of that race, and Miss Do Right. I mean, at some point, you think these post 7s have to catch up to her. They haven't yet, though. I just thought that Doug McNair aboard Siri Sealster today, she was likely the one to beat in here, and she might still be the one to beat. But when you're going to get some kind of inherent value on a horse that's getting the best driver, the best driver in the country for the last 2 years, then you've got to take it. And Zeb's Breaking Dawn right now at 7-1, but obviously using 3 deep in here, the Siri Sealster, and also the one we see on the screen right now, the 7 Miss Do Right.
And of course, based on what we've seen from Miss Do Right, awfully tough to leave off the top 2. Post position 7, but she knows that post.
Yeah, she knows it well, doesn't she? I mean, it's last 3 starts, and every time, I mean, she was a winner her first start over this service from post 7, and then last time out, a winner again, getting past the likes of Siri Sealster and holding off Matthews Rita in that one, and really, she's got such strong foot off the gate that it almost seems like the post doesn't really seem to affect her much. But you'd have to think at some point it will. And maybe that's going to be tonight, but 5-2 is still not bad value. Again, I think if she drew inside, I think we both agree, Gary, she'd probably be the favorite, right? If she drew inside, but another outside post, you're getting a decent number again.
Yeah, and then one that you've got on the bottom of your ticket that's interesting because it's Brett McDonald, Richard Moreau, third start of the year, 24-1.
Yeah, I put this one, on the bottom there and came close to using her in the multi legs. Not first time row because he's had this horse before with some success as well. And trailing post has been difficult this year. There is some speed to follow though, so she might not get away too bad. And I'll be honest, at 24 to 1, you've got to use her in the exotics, right? I mean, she might get away well, and she might take a big step forward on here. Qualifier was a decent one over a track that was off by 2 seconds. Again, one that I'm using in the exotics, no doubt about it.
And I used Mulligan Filly on the bottom just because Mulligan Filly might be a trip horse, can get off the gate well. Scotty Coulter driving. Taking up their position, Sweet Molly, Mulligan Filly, Siri Sealster. In the center, Zeb's Breaking Dawn and Sky Velocity. The outside, True That, and Misty Wright and Matthews Rita. And the second tier, Stonebridge Fib. It's a field of 9. It's race number 1, first of 10 dashes on this Monday evening. And the field for race number 1 is at the start of the rough in Mulligan Filly, Siri Sealster, and then Miss Do Right has done wrong, made a break in stride. It is Mulligan Filly who's got the front, and now True That is driving, but Siri Sealster is still second. True That is racing third, and now is going to take back and try to find the pylons, and is able to do so in front of Zeb's Breaking Dawn. Then it is back to Sweet Molly. Then we've got Matthews Rita, Sky Velocity, and then further back is Stonebridge Fib, and a well back Misty Right after that early break in stride. Mulligan Filly at 35 to 1's got the front. Siri Sealster is tucked in close, nose to helmet in the pocket. True That is working on the outside. And Zeb's Breaking Dawn is going to follow True That and is working second over. Matthews Rita's to the outside, racing fifth, and then Sweet Molly and Sky Velocity. They work up towards this Mulligan Filly with the lead. Challenging is True That. Siri Sealster is third. Zeb's Breaking Dawn now advancing on the outside, second over, and now has moved up to take over third. And then also to the outside, Matthews Rita is getting a little bit closer as they work their way into the back stretch off a half of 57 and 4 and a 30-second second panel. True That has got the lead. Zeb's Breaking Dawn is getting closer for James McDonald, and Siri Sealster was able to follow up now. Zeb's Breaking Dawn. Mulligan Filly's on the inside and is about to be fourth, and now Zeb's Breaking Dawn leads it by a head as they race by three quarters, 126 and 2. Zeb's Breaking Dawn. True That on the inside is second. Then Siri Sealster and Mulligan Filly. Matthews, Rita, and Sky Velocity. Zeb's Breaking Dawn as the field turns for home. True That. Siri Sealster third. Mulligan Filly is still holding on to fourth. On down the stretch route they come. Zeb's Breaking Dawn is going to win. Zeb's Breaking Dawn takes it by about 2.5 lengths. True That was able to stick for second. Then Mulligan Filly and Siri Sealster. Zeb's Breaking Dawn 155 and 3. Impressive, Robert.
Yeah, and the price is also impressive too. I'll be honest, Gary. When we sometimes have to call an audible, right, in this job, and we did that tonight. I know that for my selections, I made them earlier today, and when I saw this driver change, I had to switch to Zeb's Breaking Dawn to my top selection on here. And 6 to 1, that's a monstrous price. I mean, she was obviously stepping up in class. There's no doubt about that. This is tougher than the group she beat last time. But she's picking up the service of James McDonald, and she won in similar fashion, right? She was first over a long way, and then just kind of paced away in the stretch, 55 and 3. Again, I just marvel at the price. When I saw that driver change, I said, okay, she's probably going to be around 2 to 1 or 5 to 2. Somehow we get 6 to 1.
And then True That was a very credible effort and did manage to stick around for second. 12 out of 20 in the top three. A correction, True That is a 3 out of 11 in the top three, but no top two finishes, but finished there second.
Yeah, it was a nice effort from True That, and she's kind of been dabbling in against tougher horses here and there, right? Grassroots races and whatnot, and had raced well in non-winners, a 2 at Georgian Downs. So I thought that it was one of those ones that she might be able to get into the exotics. I wasn't expecting her to end up finishing second in there. Mulligan Filly, long price on the bottom end of the try. These exotics are probably going to pay even better than we think, right? Because there's probably some built-in value, like you had said, with people not realizing Zeb's Breaking Dawn had James McDonald aboard. By not getting the changes, before they made their wagers, which, hey, I've been guilty of in the past. So, Series Sealster, the odds-on choice, ends up finishing fourth. She kind of got shuffled back a little bit, but no real excuse not to do better than that and miss do right, Gary. I thought 7 hole might catch up with her, but didn't see her making a miscue tonight.
I hope somebody threw Mulligan Philly towards the bottom of their ticket because I used that one for fourth and picked up a 35-1 shot on the board.
There you go, and it's going to pay huge. Like I said, this try and super will probably pay even better than you think.
It's a 4-6-2-3. Rolling back in front of us, the winner of race one, 4 Zeps Breaking Dawn, a 4-year-old. He's watching Brown Bear, owned by Doug High. Chris Rogers, the trainer. James McDonald, the winning driver. Zeps Breaking Dawn. It's the second win this year in Lifetime. 155-3. The first race payouts for Zeps Breaking Dawn. 1560, 850 and 480, 6 True That, 1180 and 730 and 2 Mulligan Philly, 980, $2 exactor, $175, dollar try, 834.35, dollar super, 3900, 2160. the first race, order of finish from the top 734-152-968. That's 734-152-968.
Zeb's Breaking Dawn winning the opener with James McDonald aboard somehow, paying 6 to 1. I still don't understand how that happens, but hey, we'll take it. We'll take it. Adjustments, right? In handicapping, adjustments in any sports are important. When you're handicapping horses and betting horses, though, you've got to be willing to make changes based on what happens throughout the night. Driver changes, biases, you name it. And I hope you jumped in there on Zeb's Breaking Dawn at 6 to 1 and had that one in your pick five. But if you didn't, even if you did, you might as well jump in on the early pick four, starting right here in race number 2. Low takeout, 15% guaranteed pool, $2,500. There's my ticket. I'm not going to deviate from my pick five, just the 1 and 2 here in the opening leg. Mickey's Duchess just gets hammered down to 1 to 2. That won't hold. DA Cinnamon Crunch will likely be the post time favorite, but 1 and 2 here for me. Race 3, the 1 and 3. I think it's kind of a 2-horse affair in that one, but hey, it is the Battle of the Bells, the first elimination for the Battle of the Bells. So we might see a little bit of action in the early going there. Top 4 make the final, +1, fifth place finisher. 1-3 for me, though, in race number 3. Race 4, just a 3 pass line. I think she's the one to beat. I'm not going to try to beat her. Singled up there for me. 2, 3, 4, 6, and 7. The money leg, that's 5 deep there for a $4 ticket for a 20-cent wager. See what Conley has for us quickly here. Surprised right now at the odds board, but again, we might see that kind of switch come post time. 1 and 6 for Conley, so DA Cinnamon Crunch, the one that I think many will be focusing on here. He's adding All Racy, who I thought did race pretty well, and that's a lifetime debut over this surface. 1, 3, and 4 in race 3, so he's adding the 4. How much? A Dave Maneri trainee in the elimination for the Battle of the Bells, and then in race 4, singling up on pass line, and then just 2 and 3 in the money leg. In a race where Rose Run Yvette looks like she might be the one to beat, but I don't know. It looks like there could be some others in there that might come in at a bit of a price. But you've got just a couple minutes to map out your winning wagers for this early pick four sequence. Again, takeout's always a low, 15%. Pool's guaranteed at $2,500. We'll be back shortly to take a closer look at this upcoming dash for 2-year-old Philly Pacers.
Field for race number 2 on parade 1. DA Cinnamon Crunch, Jody Jameson for Carl Jameson and Jet Jameson and Haley Jameson and Anita McDonald. Number 2 is Mickey's Duchess, Doug McNair for Greg McNair and Frank Brundle. Number 3 is My Bitcoin, Brett Madonna for Richard Moreau and Clement Levson. Number 4 is Single to Mingle, Blair Burgess, drives and trains and owns. 5 scratch, number 6, All Racy, Travis Henry for Sean Stacy and Hudson Standardbreds. And number 7 is Maternal Instinct, Scott Kohler, Shane Barrington, and Aaron Waxman, and David Jarvis. It is now a field of 6 for race number 2, and the money is still holding on Mitchie's Duchess. Well, we got value in the first race. Could we get some value again on DA Cinnamon Crunch, 4-1, Rob?
I mean, I kind of doubt it's going to happen. I thought that we'd see an overwhelming favorite here, and I thought I was kind of being a little bit sneaky with the two Mickey's Touches here as it maybe a price play to beat the favorite in my multis. But I don't know, Gary. I think the money's got to come for DA Cinnamon Crunch, and a lot of it is just because she's got that extra experience over the field here. Fourth in her lifetime debut, in a condition race, then followed up with a third to a solid winner. Then last time out in the When You Wish Upon a Star, obviously, beaten by a wide margin, but that was against Reigning Jade. So I think that this one's got to take support from the pole position, and we're still going to see some of that come. Right now, Jody just turns her a little bit of a score down here. And again, I thought just on time alone, we'd see this one take a lot more support than we're seeing right now. I think it still has to come. I really do. I think you see the double payout is minuscule. She's going to get hammered late.
Mickey's Duchess, the one thing that is interesting is in the qualifier, at least came home rather nicely. And of course, you see all those qualifiers.
I do, yeah, and I thought it was decent on the end of it. One of those ones that you kind of got to watch it a few times before you kind of say, okay, I'm willing to kind of back this horse. Did I think that she'd be 3-5 off it? No, not even close. I mean, I thought she'd be the sneaky play here. I like, she looks a little fired up on the track right now, which is probably a good thing because if she's going to win on here, she's got to get forwardly placed off the gate from post 2. But the 28-4 on the end of it, and there wasn't really a whole heck of a lot of urging. And right now, I like the way she handles that turn there. And Doug looks like he wants her to kind of, do her thing out here and score down at a pretty good clip. So I like that. And I think it's also kind of giving us a preview of what the intent might be tonight, which is half the battle, right? When you're betting 2-year-olds and you're kind of wondering, kind of first time starter, is she going to be on the gate? Is she going to go forward off the gate? What kind of education has she had already? And I think that's a good sign for her. Even money right now, Gary, again, I couldn't bet her at that price, but I'm more than happy to have her in the multis because there's no way she's even money in the multis. I think we can both agree the double's paying, pretty big off her right now, compared to the one. And I think that's more of the price she is probably in the multis.
One thing to like about number 6, All Racy, is has experience here, and it was a decent experience with the back half.
It was, and you know what? This is one that'll get me right because I remember saying after that race, Hot Tub Poppin' Bubbly was so good, and Black to Reality was game chasing. But there was 2-year-old filly, making your first lifetime start that I thought raced pretty well to kind of come from out of it to get the show spot, albeit she was a long way back. And usually, I'll jump on one that's got experience over the surface with a decent effort. I just thought that she might be up against it tonight, from post 6. Now it's post 5 though. But yeah, one that I kind of said, we'll watch that one for next time. And I end up not going back to her, but she's 9-1. I think you got to get every bit of that price if you're going to back her in here, because I think she is up against it with the horses that have drawn to the inside, even the inside 3, to be perfectly honest.
And to round out the ticket, who do you go with on the bottom?
It'd be the 3. My Bitcoin. I don't know if Ryan Clements might be jumping all over this one. Friend of the program and someone who's a big advocate of Bitcoin. But no, my Bitcoin is intriguing, right? First time Richard Moreau coming over with decent lines at Trois Rivières, but a couple of second place finishes there. Obviously, how do those times stack up? Last time was on a track that was off by 3 seconds. I just thought she's one you use in the exotics. But she's got the gears, right? Maybe to get off the gate well and get a big piece of it.
Well, right now the money has flipped, and now DA Cinnamon Crunch is even money on the board. They take up their positions. DA Cinnamon Crunch and Mickey's Duchess on the inside of the center. My Bitcoin and Single to Mingle to the outside. Racy and Maternal Instinct. It is a field of six. The second dash. It is post time. Here they come. Field four, race number two. Into the stretch drive, gathering speed. There at the start of the rough, DA Cinnamon Crunch and Maternal Instinct from the outside. Mickey's Duchess is on the inside, and My Bitcoin's racing into the front four. Then as they work around the turn, it is all racy. And then back trailing the field is Single to Mingle. DA Cinnamon Crunch has got the lead right now. And Maternal Instinct from the outside was able to get out quickest to fill the pocket. My Bitcoin is racing third. Then Mickey's Duchess and Single to Mingle. And all racy is trailing DA Cinnamon Crunch. Well, the price did come all the way down to 1 to 9. And Maternal Instinct is racing second. My Bitcoin is third. And then racing fourth is Mickey's Duchess and Single to Mingle and all racy. Six in a line on around the turn. DA Cinnamon Crunch has right now a lead of a couple of lengths as they race off the turn. Maternal Instinct is racing position to second. And then racing on the outside now, Mickey's Duchess is going to challenge first over. My Bitcoin's racing fourth. We'll back the pair of Single to Mingle and all racy. 1 minute 4/5 the halftime. A 31 and 1 second panel breather. And Cinnamon Crunch off that half of 1 minute and 4 has the lead with Mickey's Duchess to the outside now, taking second. Maternal Instinct is third. And My Bitcoin is fourth. And then it is back to Single to Mingle and all racy. DA Cinnamon Crunch and Jody Jamison. No urging just yet and leads at a couple of lengths. Mickey's Duchess drops on the inside. My Bitcoin is going to work up on the outside now and take over third. Then Maternal Instinct and all racy and Single to Mingle. 3/4, 129 and 3. DA Cinnamon Crunch. Mickey's Duchess is chipping away. That advantage is a length and a half. Now a length and a quarter as they turn for home. DA Cinnamon Crunch on the inside. Mickey's Duchess on the outside is charging hard. And it's going to be a close finish. Mickey's Duchess might have gotten the better of DA Cinnamon Crunch. My Bitcoin third, close for fourth. Mile of 158. We've had some close finishes here recently, and you have to stare at the finish. I think that maybe the two got there, but I'm not completely certain. Rob, what is your angle?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I know who I need. I know that. But I don't know. I mean, I don't want to jinx myself or say anything that might jinx others. We'll see this angle here and maybe see a better look of it. They kind of come together here too, right? I mean, it looks like the two kind of comes in a little bit. Maybe that makes it closer than it really should have been. Looks like getting up though on the outside. Yeah. Oh, I don't know.
Well, it is the two actually. I can tell you that now. I could have told you
Okay. Well,
before they
you
came to
see,
the finish, but I didn't want to
I
spoil
can't.
it for you.
What am I supposed to do there though, right? I mean, obviously now this is like big sweat territory for yours truly because, I mean, this is a good result in both the legs here. And you know what? We've seen though, Greg McNair with these first years at Grand River lately had a lot of success. Like I said, it was one of those ones where I couldn't really put ahead of DA Cinnamon Crunch and the experience that one had. Obviously, going off at 1 to 9 at the end said the money would land there. And I was hoping Mickey's Duchess would be a big price. It ends up being, I guess slightly lower, still the neighborhood I thought she would be at 9 to 2. But confident drive by Doug McNair, right? Getting away fourth, coming first over, had the luxury of getting into that two hole. And then when he came out with some authority too, right? Kind of whipping off that final turn before kind of getting up late. And I think if she kind of just paced straight in the stretch, she would have probably won by a bigger margin. So there you have it, 9 to 2. And this double, Gary, you know what? I know what my dad will say to me. You bet the pick five, you bet the double, right? We started off 3 by 2, and this double's paying $162.
Yeah, but you're alive in the pick five, and things could really go nicely because already you would have to assume these two in the pick five sets you up well.
Yeah, you know what? The much bigger prices than I think 6 to 1 and 9 to 2 in the pick five. These are two sizable knockouts. Beating, as we always say, what's the most important five and pick fours? You beat favorites. Doesn't matter who wins; it's who you beat.
Back in front of us is the one that beat DA Cinnamon Crunch. It's number 2, Mickey's Duchess. A 2-year-old Always Be Mickey Bay filly, owned by Frank Brundle. Greg McNair is the trainer. Doug McNair, the winning driver. First career win, debut mile. Mickey's Duchess, 158 flat. The second race payouts to Mickey's Duchess, 1183, 2260. 1, D8 Cinnamon Crunch, 210, 210, and 3 My Bitcoin, 270. Double of 4 and 2, 162.40. The exactor of 2 and 1, Mickey's Duchess and DA Cinnamon Crunch, returns 15.30. Dollar try, 12.85. Dollar super, 40.75. The second race order finish from the top down: 2, 1, 3, 6, scratch, 5, 4, scratch. That's 2, 1, 3, 6, scratch, 5, 4, scratch. Field for the third on parade. One, Wicked Weather, James McDonald for Anthony Beaton and SSG Stables. Number 2, TH Jackie's Legacy, Travis Cullen for Jody Cullen and Ron Cullen and Blair Kidd. And number 3, Collusion, Hanover Louis Bois for Luke Bland, Determination. Number 4, How Much, Bob Clore for Dave Mineri and Burke Racing and Knox Services and Weaver Buscemi. Number 5, Benita's Best Bet, Doug McNair for Dave Mineri and Burke Racing and Frank Baldacchino. And number 6, raffle winner, Sylvain Fillion for Desiree Jones and Gino Toscani. Field of 6, Battle of the Bells, first elimination. Let's get a look at this field. And one of the things I want to ask you about, Rob, is when you're looking at this field now, knowing that 4 get in guaranteed and one of the fifth place finishers of the 2 eliminations, how much does that change the way you think about how hard they're going to race and how things might go?
Well, I mean, a little bit, but I'll be honest, Gary. Not really, especially in this, I guess, elimination, because you've got a couple of horses to me that are likely going to be flashing the early speed and have post edge as well. In Collusion, Hanover, and Wicked Weather. So it is kind of an interesting dynamic, right? 6-horse field, top 4 punch their ticket, one fifth place finisher. But again, there's still reason to go out there and get a victory going into that race. And Collusion Hanover for me was one that was really impressed by in victory on July the 13th. I thought was a solid winner in 55 and 1, 40 cents to the dollar, and then came back in an OSS Gold last time, had absolutely no chance where the race panned out. Got away 8th off the gate, was a long way out of it. And you often see did a horse have pace or not? You look at the line, you see they made up a lot of ground, 26 and 4 on the end of the mile, but she was actually in behind horses, kind of looking around for room in the stretch, and was kind of in tight quarters late. Not saying she would have made an impact on the top finishers in there, but it's kind of what you'd want to see coming into a race like this, right? A horse that should be brave, not 5 in the box. She'd be the bigger price of the 2, her and Wicked Weather. Right now she's a shade lower, but I think that will flip come post time. It does flip right now, 3-2 now in the One Wicked Weather.
And One Wicked Weather does have a decent line in OSS Gold July the 11th, and then was cruising last race at the finish.
She was. It was cruise control. I mean, that's a good way to put it, because off by nearly 6 lengths, and you can see the margin kind of went down a bit, from the stretch to the wire, but it was only because she was completely shut down. 27 seconds quarter on the end of that mile, 55.3. I mean, she made the move at the midway point, and really the gold effort wasn't bad either, right? Completing the superfecta at 21-1 in a race won by Better Sisters. So I think Wicked Weather with that pole position is going to push out of there. I mean, you don't really ever want to give up any spots, no matter how many horses are going to be advancing to the final. There they are right there beside each other, both looking smart on the track, the 2 favorites right now, and the 2 that I think will probably be contesting for the early lead off the switch.
Number 5, Benita's Best Bet, hasn't tried gold yet, but certainly that last race suggests that she'd fit fine there.
Yeah, it was a good effort last time at Sarnia. It was one of the races that I watched live actually on that occasion. There was some good OSS grassroots action that evening, July 22nd, at Hiawatha Horse Park, and this one went to the lead. And kind of just kept on rolling, right? And 55 and 4. That's a fast surface there, right? It's 5/8 of a mile. It's a pretty fast surface, but it was a solid effort. And for a horse too that that was her first try in Ontario, north of the border, since coming up from Ron Burke, and was a winner in her lifetime debut. So I guess she was kind of the intriguing one. Like, can she go with the 2 favorites in here? I think she might be able to, but the post edge was enough for me to just say those are the 2 I want to have in the multi-legs.
And then How Much? Well, this is one that's got a win, and you saw the last start at Sarnia, a good effort in the grassroots.
It was definitely a good effort in the grassroots. Ended up finishing second on the end of it there as the favorite. Defeated, fallen to defeat as the favorite though in each of her last 2. So, but again, she can step up here. I mean, I think she's one that you use in the bottom end of the exotics. Pretty hard for me to think that she can beat the 1 of the 3, but with the right trip, who knows?
Well, the fans have landed trying to decide between Wicked Weather and Collusion Hanover. And right now, slight favoritism on Collusion Hanover, but it's been kind of bouncing back and forth. We'll see how it plays out. Wicked Weather, TH Jackie's Legacy on the inside. Collusion, Hanover, and How Much in the center. The outside, Benitez Best Bet. Raffle winner. It's a field of 6, race number 3, the Battle of the Bells, first elimination. Field for the third race. Gathering speed, approaching the start. There at the start of the round, Wicked Weather, and How Much will drive out with Benitez Best Bet. Wicked Weather, though, using that post-one advantage to drive on through and claim the lead, and How Much is still working to the outside. TH Jackie's Legacy, Benitez Best Bet. Collusion, Hanover is fifth away, and then Raffle winner. And now How Much wants to drive up and clear to the front, and that leaves Benitez Best Bet still traveling on the outside as Wicked Weather is on the inside and is racing third. Now Benitez Best Bet is going to clear to the front. How Much is racing second. Wicked Weather on the inside third. Then TH Jackie's Legacy and Collusion Hanover. And then Raffle winner. It is Benitez Best Bet. How Much racing second, 28 seconds opening quarter. Wicked Weather is racing third, still on the inside, but now angles out and goes off stride. Wicked Weather has broken stride. TH Jackie's Legacy is third. Wicked Weather did quickly recover. Collusion Hanover is racing fourth. Raffle winner is fifth. And then Wicked Weather is sixth now as they work their way on past the 5/8 and on down the backstretch they go. And it is Benitez Best Bet and How Much racing second. TH Jackie's Legacy third. Collusion Hanover is fourth. And right now is about 5.5 off the lead, and now angles to the outside. Then it is Raffle winner, and Wicked Weather is trailing the field. It is Benitez Best Bet. How Much, and now Collusion Hanover is getting up a little bit closer and is bearing down on Benitez Best Bet. 3/4, 128. It is Benitez Best Bet, Collusion Hanover, and then How Much racing third. Raffle winner is kicking in late. Wicked Weather and TH Jackie's Legacy, they turn for home. Collusion Hanover on down the stretch drive they come. Collusion Hanover against Benitez Best Bet. Collusion Hanover is going to win. Benitez Best Bet was second. Then How Much is third, and then it looked like maybe TH Jackie's Legacy 156-4. Collusion Hanover at 2-1, and we got a break from Wicked Weather, and also notice finished sixth, so we won't even be probably looking at an inquiry for that one. But Collusion Hanover, your top one, did get the job done.
She did, she raced fantastic. She really did. I mean, I'll be honest, Gary. When Wicked Weather made that break in stride, I said, well, there's not going to be much for me to really cheer for here from my pick 5 ticket now, because I'm too deep with the 1 and 3, thinking that the 3 just might be at a big pace disadvantage, right? I mean, they go 28, 58, and 3. I mean, she's still close enough she can get into the race, but that's pretty impressive when you march first over like that and go by with relative ease, really, on the end of it. And I thought that, she had raced really well last time out with no chance. She'd be brave, and she raced like a pretty brave horse tonight, just marching up there. A couple of steps got put in ahead of the lane, I thought, by Benitez Best Bet. May have hurt her chance a little bit, but I don't think it really mattered. I think Collusion Hanover was going by no matter what.
And then How Much raced pretty credibly to finish a third, and Raffle winner actually was making a nice little kick late and picked up a fourth. But also the story with Wicked Weather, and why I mentioned sixth, because James was at least trying desperately to get into the top 5, and Wicked Weather made a bit of a move, but then wound up sixth.
Yeah, it was tough, too, because you're thinking Wicked Weather might just kind of inherit the lead. We kind of sometimes see, right, in these shorter fields at Grand River. I mean, obviously there's a lot on the line tonight, Battle of the Bells, first elimination. But, pushes out of there, but immediately kind of just gets looped by both Benitez Best Bet and How Much. So at that point in time, now you're in the 3-hole, and we know what happens in the 3-hole. You got to go first up, and going first over. This horse had made a break before, and then makes a break in stride tonight, and unfortunately squanders her chances of punching her ticket to the final of the Battle of the Bells. But I'm sure she'll come back to fight another day. But it definitely unfortunate that one misses out.
And back in front of us is number 3, Collusion Hanover. 2-year-old Better is Delight Bay filly, owned by Determination. Luc Blais is the trainer, and Louis Bois, the winning driver. It's the second win for Collusion Hanover. Mile of 156-4.
through in the opening elimination of the Battle of the Bells. Just take me through the vantage point from you, Louis, especially when James made the break.
Yeah, at first I was looking. I said, "Oh, James gonna probably be my cover there," and I still wasn't in a rush to move her. But then when he made a break, I'm like, "Well, she's gonna have to work her way there." But with those 2-year-old, I didn't have any rush. I think I know that she showed lately that she has a little good burst of speed, so we weren't that far being sitting fourth there. I was still confident with her, and she did it pretty easy.
I mean, she seems pretty mature. Just a couple of starts in her career, like most of these here, but that quick turn of foot certainly an advantage for her on a track like this.
Yeah, she's learning. She's learning the racing pretty quick because she's getting a little more not aggressive, but like she wants to do it. She knows what's going on out there. But I think a trip like tonight kind of like I didn't have to rush her early, so I was happy that way. That with a short field, I didn't have to push her too much here on the half mile, and that way I think I can keep her more manageable on the long term.
All right, well, I know you got another good one coming up here in the following elimination. Then we'll let you make your decision with whatever happens. But good luck. Congrats on job A here.
Thank you.
All right, there's Louis Waugh. He gets Collusion Hanover, her ticket stamped to next week's Battle of the Bells final in 1:56 and 4.
The third race payouts 3 Collusion Hanover, $6.90, $3.250. 5 Benitez Best Bet, $4.90 and $2.70. And for how much? $3.40, $2 exactor, $25.80. $1 try, $30.85. $1 super, $133.85. The third race order finished in the top 641-325. That's 641-325. Field on parade for race number 4. 1. Greatest Pleasure chair plot for Luke Bland, Determination. Number 2. Past a Delight, Jody Jamieson for Anthony Beaton and Westwind Stable and Mark Dumaine and McNichol. Number 3. Pass Line, But there is four Peeler, Bob McClure for Bob McIntosh, and Al McIntosh and Frank Baldacchino. There is number three pass line, Louis Bois for Dave Mineri and Burka Racing and Weaver Bruchemi. Number five is Candescent Hanover, James McDonough for Dave Mineri and Alan Alber and William Hart and Larry Mineri. And six is Cheese Party, Trevor Henry for Kyle Boston's Field of Six, race number four, the Battle of the Bells, second elimination. And right away, Rob, we've got to look at number three, Pass Line. That OSS Gold win and the time of that win really jumps off the page.
It sure does. And the thing is she really has not had a bad start in her life. I mean, she won those first three efforts at Mohawk Park, at OSS, gold victory, 151 and 4, and did so, in a huge effort on that occasion, coming home with 27 seconds flat as a 6-5 favorite. And then her defeat last time, well, similar kind of journey, forged the lead of the stretch, only got beat by half a length. So she's done some really good things, and she does have that qualifier too, over the Meadows, June 6th, which was a pretty good line there, 258 and 2. So you'd have to think she should be okay over the shorter track here. I mean, that's really the key with her, though, right? Is as long as she takes to the surface here, she established herself as the clear one to beat, Gary, and I couldn't go against her. She started off as the second choice. Greatest Pleasure took a lot of support early. We see a lot of horses for these connections take early money, especially on the B tracks when the pools are a bit smaller, so their odds really start off small. And Pass Line now emerges as the odds-on choice at 3-5.
And Greatest Pleasure is the one that we both tabbed as the main threat and also gets the advantage of starting on the inside. And we'll see if Greatest Pleasure flashes gate speed. How do you think it'll work out?
I think you have to, right? I mean, Jared Plant too is a driver that no stranger to the half-mile surface and someone who likes to ramble out of there. The thing is about Greatest Pleasure, if you remember, got on our watch list, first start of her career, real good effort to be third, kind of a long way out of it early on. And that was July 3rd against a pretty soft group. Cat was out of the bag next time though. Prospect Series at Hanover, 20 cents to the dollar, crushed them, and then came back with a nice victory in the grassroots at Hiawatha. So she's a horse that should be confident right now. She's coming into this off two straight victories. Pass Line obviously admirable in defeat last time, but Greatest Pleasure is one to be wary of in here, and that's why she is taking that support at 5-2 as a clear second choice right now.
And then number two, Path to Delight. This is one that's been able to finish up the miles well, even though also has been getting off the gate reasonably well also.
Yeah, she shows some speed right out of the gate, and that's really, July 13th, Mohawk Park, post 8, rambled out of there and got to the lead after being parked to the opening quarter at 27 and 3. Kind of got things thrown away in the middle half before getting caught by Right Match on the end of it. Last time, second by a wide margin to Wicked Weather, who obviously we didn't get to really see the best that she could do in the first elimination tonight. But Pass the Delight's one that I think you've got to respect just from that pace scenario, getting away well off the switch. Does have that break though, right? In a qualifier, Mohawk, you'd have to. A lot of these horses, we wonder how they can get around the surface. Not many of them have raced here, and that's the one thing that we've got the one Greatest Pleasure. That's the feather at her cap right now.
And number four, Peeler, shows us a big flashback half, July the 6th.
Yeah, Peeler's a horse that every time I write the horse player's journal at Mohawk and this one is racing, I always want to somehow get a way to put her on top, and it's probably because you and I think are drawn, Gary, at times to those final quarters, and she does bang home nicely. 26 and 4 to lifetime debut. But then, when she's kind of been activated a little sooner miles, she hasn't, come home with as much gusto, but there's a 26 and 1/3 quarter 3 back. So I don't know how it works out for her. I think the shorter field's going to help her chances, to get the final. 16 on the board. I mean, if you wanted to take a flyer, there's worse places you could bet 16-1. But I think bottom end of the exotics is
Well,
where the most likely spot she lands.
well, maybe Peeler could be coming late and strip one of those inside three from the top three and to get onto the trifecta ticket. We'll see how it unfolds here. Greatest Pleasure past a Delight on the inside pass line. Peeler in the center to the outside. Candescent Hanover Cheese Party Field of Six. Race number 4, the Battle of the Bells, second elimination. Here they come. There at the start of the off, Greatest Pleasure, pass line will leave out well, past a Delay, and then it is Peeler, Candescent Hanover and Cheese Party, and they work on around that first turn. Greatest Pleasure has the pleasure of the early lead, but pass line on the outside wants to come on now, and pass line is going to pass Greatest Pleasure and take the front. Past a Delight is racing third, then it is Peeler, Candescent Hanover and Cheese Party, and they head on to the opening quarter. Pass line 1-5 the board has the front for Louis Bois, leading Greatest Pleasure by length and 3/4, 28-1 the opening panel. Then Past a Delight and Peeler and Candescent Hanover and a Cheese Party is trailing the field. They work their way on around the turn of a 28-1 opening quarter. And it is Pass Line who's got the lead. Greatest Pleasure right there is enjoying the view in the pocket. Past a Delight is third. And then racing fourth is Peeler on the inside. And then it is Candescent Hanover and Cheese Party as they work their way on past the half of 57-2. And into the backstretch they go. And it is Pass Line. Still the Greatest Pleasure is right there, still in the pocket. And Past a Delight. And now Peeler on the outside is able to move up and take over third. And Peeler is coming on and now is taken over second. And Peeler is now driving up against Pass Line. Pass Line, Peeler on the inside third. Greatest of Pleasure. And then Past a Delight on the inside. And Cheese Party to the outside. Then it is Candescent Hanover, 3/4 in 127, Pass Line, and Peeler is getting a little bit closer. Greatest Pleasure is third, and then it is Cheese Party and Past a Delight. It is Pass Line, and Peeler on the outside, and Greatest Pleasure third. On down the stretch route they come. Pass Line is not going to be passed. Greatest Pleasure will finish second, and then Past a Delight and Peeler fourth, and then it was a Cheese Party and Candescent Hanover 155-3. Pass Line living up to the heavy billing.
She does, Gary. And you know what? Felt good early on, having this one singled. I mean, when you're live in the pick 5, you think it might be paying okay. You get a little bit worried, even when they are an odds-on choice like this. But Louis Philippe Bois kind of let it develop early. Greatest Pleasure, punched out of there as we expected, and then Pass Line comes around them, and you could see didn't really slow it down much. Second quarter, right, 57-2. I think that was kind of just listen, need to establish our dominance on the engine here. You could visibly see though Louis tap the brakes kind of under the wire. When they came up to the halfway point. And that's when he kind of stole that third quarter, right? 127 flat. So it was 29-3 on that one. So that was where you could see, okay, you know what, that's going to be what she needs to get to the wire. And whereas Greatest Pleasure looked, to have a little bit of pace in there, as soon as he kind of asked her just a little bit, she opened up like a good thing. And of course, there's incentive, right, to win these eliminations. Winners draw 1 through 5. So that's obviously important when it comes to the final. So 1-5 winner there. Pass Line, went out there and showed her dominance, but decent effort from Greatest Pleasure in second, and it kind of played out the way we thought it would underneath.
And your top 4 on the selections were 3, 1, 2, 4, comes in that order. And Fort Peeler did flash a pretty big burst of speed there, made an effort, did tire a little bit late, but that was after doing some nice work.
Yeah, she did. She kind of got put into play tonight, a little sooner. I mean, she'd made moves at midway points before. But again, she's got to attack a horse that's, the one to beat kind of going into the Battle of the Bells overall in both these eliminations. And in doing so, I mean, you think that might, take a lot out of her. Now, obviously, she did end up finishing fourth on the end of the mile there, but hey, she still ends up punching her ticket to the final, and good opportunity for her to open up her lungs and get a good effort under her belt, rounding out the Super at 23-1.
Well, you had the top 4. It's a 3, 1, 2, 4. Coming back in front of us will be number 3, Pass Line, 2-year-old All Bets Off Bay filly, owned by Burke Racing and Weaver Bruchemi. Dave Maneri is the trainer. Louis Waugh, the winning driver. It's the fourth win in just 5 career starts for number 3 pass line. 155 and 3.
Second elimination in the books here for the Battle of the Bells. Louis Waugh back with me as he expected is now reality pass line with a rather comfortable victory again. I mean, she made it look pretty easy. It looked like you were just kind of toying with them. Plug still in. Was she as good as she's been all along?
Oh yeah, she's since day one. The last time she raced, she got beat in the goal there more. Maybe the trip I gave her, but even Dave said after she came up a little sick, so they treated her. And tonight she seemed back to herself, but it's hard to tell. I didn't use her too much, and I didn't have to, so she felt to me like she had more.
You know, sometimes after a horse rings off a whole bunch of victories and then they suffer that first defeat, the attitude might change a little bit. Was she a little more aggressive or anything, or just status quo with her?
No, she's been the same since day one. She wants to do it, but she's not crazy. She's like what you when you break a baby and what you hope to be for the next summer. That's what she is right now. She wants to do her job, but nothing too much and nothing less.
When Bob came at you with Peeler, we know that she's a small filly that can move pretty well on a half. Your filly just responded the way you wanted.
Yeah, I never really had a doubt. If I was gonna say the only doubt was, like I said, the last start she was a little sick, and I'm like, is she gonna get tired? But no, she never got tired, and she felt pretty good the whole way.
Well, you did your job. You got both your horses into the final. They're both going to have the luxury of drawing between 1 and 5. However, I got to ask you, do you know where you're going next Monday?
I'll sleep on it tonight. You guys are gonna find out with the draw. I don't know, to be honest. I got one pass lane that's been really good since day one. She was really ready to go, and the other one, I feel like she's just improving every start and a little more later in her progression. But it's hard to tell at the moment which one is really the best. They both did it pretty easy tonight.
Little suspense for the script never hurts. Nice job.
Thank you.
All right, Louis Waugh gets pass line. Easy win at 155 and 3. We will be drawing the final of the Battle of the Bells after race number 5. Stay tuned for that.
The fourth race payouts number 3 pass line 240, 210, 210. One greatest pleasure 280, 242 pass to delight 250. $2 exactor $4. Dollar try 405. Dollar super 1105. the fourth race, order of finish from the top down at 231-465. That's 231-465. Field on parade for race 5-1. Bettor's Passion. Brad McDonald for Bruce McDonald and Martin Stables and Craig Walwyn. And number 2 is Rose Run Yvette. Gerald Lilly drives and trains and owns. Number 3, No Place to Hide. Samuel Filia for Ashley Lenvoy and Tom Knight. Number 4 is Geminar. Bob McClure for Larry Fitzsimmons. 5 is Shea Sealster. Larry Small for Todd Ratchford. Number 6, Country Charm. James McDonough for Carl Dawson and Tisa Large. And number 7 is On Top Are You Elegant. Travis Henry for Walter Whalen and Chris Nickel. 8 is La Mitaine. Gary Rive for Matthew Rive Bohanec. And 9 is Sand in My Stilettos. Jody Jameson for Mark McDonnell. Field of 9, race number 5. Let's get a look at this, the final leg of the Pick 5, and well, features the Super High 5. We both like number 2, Rose Run Yvette, and already has a win coming. First up 2 races ago against it, Geminar, and Rose Run Yvette 5-2.
Yeah, 5-2 right now. A bigger price than I expected, and favored in the Pick 5, Gary. We're sweating out here. We got 5 horses alive, Gary. 2, 3, 4, 6, and 7. All of them paying pretty well as well. The 2 Rose Run Yvette is the favorite for 20 cents at just under $150. You know what? I just really thought that off those 2 efforts that she kind of deserved to be the favorite in here. Was a winner by a head in Sarnia. Overland a long way before getting the job done over Geminar, who is the favorite right now at even money. And then last time finished second, easily the best. Another trip where it was on the outside for much of the mile. So I just thought the trip can work out here tonight for Rose Run Yvette. She be the one to beat. 2-1 on the board right now. I think that's about the price she should be. Maybe I thought she might be 8-5 or 9-5 in here. And
then Geminar is the one right now is getting a little bit more of the action. And what did you think of that start at Hanover last time out?
It's interesting. I watched that race live, and I needed her. I'm wondering if was I kind of, am I kind of being hard on her tonight because of that? Because I pick her for second still. Bob McClure jumping aboard is obviously something you've got to take notice of. But I thought she could have won that race. She got picked up late. I thought she kind of hung a little bit as well. In the late stages before getting beat by a healthy margin to Rock and Pebble. So I don't know. I 6 to 5 even money now is too short for me on her. Obviously, Bob McClure makes it a little more appealing, but there's been 9 chances for her to get to the winner's circle and hasn't done so yet.
On top, Are You Elegant is one that's 23 to 1. Had a nice start here July the 3rd, got off the gate a little bit better. The last three hasn't been off the gate as well and hasn't been a factor.
Well, posts obviously last time was the biggest detriment for her. Fifth at 40 to 1, and there was a couple of spots where I was trying this one, Gary, on top even on one occasion, and she's a horse that just doesn't have a lot of gate speed, but she does come home nicely, and there's efforts that I've seen her come up with that I think could be good. There's a little bit of action early. I think that she's a massive overlay right now at 23 to 1. I think she deserves a little more respect in here just because when you look at this field top to bottom, there's not really the same caliber of horse that she's been facing. I mean, Kalina Diamond, I think we would be more than happy to bet her against this group. Miss Do Right, hey, sign me up. Even your Matthews Rita that finished second last time, I'd be more than happy to take. So I think 21 to 1 is a big number, and on top, Are You Elegant?
And No Place to Hide's the one that I used for second here. And look, beaten 10 and 3/4 last race with Zeb's Breaking Dawn was just outstanding.
Quite the form reference, right? I mean, getting beat by a wide margin, and also she kind of got caught behind one for a bit. So I mean, you don't read into that margin by too much because she kind of got caught behind the pace setter, who's also in this race, Sam, in my stilettos, and that kind of cost her some lengths. She was never getting near the winner, we know that. But again, good form reference because that one came back to crush tougher tonight.
Well, it's a field of 9. Good luck with the 5 of them that you have in the pick 5. Some that are paying rather nicely. Taking up their positions, Better's Passion, Rose Ron Yvette, No Place to Hide on the inside of the center, Geminar, and Shea Sealster to the outside, Country Charm on top, Are You Elegant, and La Montagne in the second tier, Sand in My Stilettos. It is a field of 9 for race number 5. They're into the stretch drive, gathering speed, approaching the start. And they're off. No Place to Hide, Rose Run Yvette, Country Charm, those the first 3. Then Geminar is racing fourth, and then on top, Are You Elegant on the inside, Better's Passion, and Better's Passion makes a break and affects Sand in My Stilettos, and also La Montagne as they race their way on into the backstretch. Rose Run Yvette, No Place to Hide is racing second. Country Charm at 70 to 1 is racing third right now, and then it is Geminar racing fourth, and on top, Are You Elegant is fifth. Then it is La Montagne, Better's Passion, and then working up on the outside now is Shea Sealster, and then it is back to Sand in My Stilettos as they race their way on around the turn. 28 and 2 opening quarter. Rose Run Yvette has got the lead and racing second. No Place to Hide. Then it is Country Charm, who's positioned to third as they work their way up towards the half off that 28 and 2 opening quarter. And now Geminar is challenging first over and is moving alongside No Place to Hide. Half 59 seconds at 30 and 3. Second panel for the leader, Rose Run Yvette. Challenging is Geminar. Inside third is No Place to Hide. Country Charms racing fourth. Then on top, Are You Elegant and La Montagne and Shea Sealster. Sand in My Stilettos and Better's Passion. They race their way on towards 3/4. Geminar trying to get the better of Rose Run Yvette, who's digging in on the inside. Rose Run Yvette and Geminar, those two have a bit of separation, and they're going at it. No Place to Hide is racing third. Then on top, Are You Elegant and Country Charm. 3/4, 127. Rose Run Yvette and Geminar as the field turns for home. Rose Run Yvette for now, turning back Geminar, but Geminar hasn't gone away. On down the stretch drive they come. Rose Run Yvette on the inside. Geminar on the outside. They're going to slug it out right to the finish. Geminar on the outside is now coming on. Geminar appeared to get there over Rose Run Yvette, No Place to Hide. Then on top are You Elegant and Shea Silter, 156 and 2. The mile time, a gutsy effort by Geminar.
Yeah, it was a gutsy effort. No hanging today for her. I mean, obviously Bob McClure too. You could see, kind of went up alongside Rose Run Yvette's, and then on the turn there, kind of took a hold again and just said, okay, we're gonna attack her one more time in the stretch and just wore her down, right? Wears her down before the wire. But I mean, no question who the best, two horses in the race were. They both opened up a wide margin, and they finished slim margin apart before. Last time, Rose Run Yvette got the better of Geminar, not this time around. Bob McClure gets this one up in the dying strides.
Have you ever been sitting in a pick five so comfortably where you have the top five and the other four are way back and out of it?
No, it's a good. I mean, obviously, it's a good feeling when your horse is in the right positions. I've been in the spot before, Gary, where I've got 4 or 5 horses, and they're sitting like last 4 or 5 with no chance, and it's certainly a better feeling than that. But hey, we'll take it, right? $195.89 for a 20-cent wager. And those adjustments are always so important, right? We always mention that live handicapping and that driver change in the opener certainly added a lot of value to the sequence. Even with past line winning, and it finishing off kind of logical here with the two best horses running away from them, it's nice to book a winner like that.
Yeah, throwing in Zeb's Breaking Dawn, whom you did not have in the pick five before the driver change, so that ends up putting money in your pocket, and it is a 4-2-3-7-5 top five. Any other thoughts on? I thought No Place to Hide didn't race all that badly.
No, didn't race badly at all. I mean, just ran into a couple that were better than her this time out. But I think she'll benefit a lot from that. And she's been kind of racing a couple of decent efforts, we'll say, right? But getting beat by a wide margin. On top, Are You Elegant? I mean, even if she draws inside, she doesn't have a tremendous amount of gate speed. But she's what I'll probably continue to chase. I get these ones that I want to kind of will to the winner's circle. She went off at 8-1. Rallies to be fourth, but again, inside post maybe, and if she can just get away better off the gate, she can do some damage.
Well, coming back in front of us, the winner of race number 5. It's number 4, Geminar, 3-year-old Dally Brown filly. Owned and trained by Larry Fitzsimmons. First win for Geminar. And the winning drive to Bob McClure, and also a special hello to Ryder McClure joining us in the winner's circle. How you doing there, buddy, Ryder? The fifth race payouts for Geminar, $640 to $83. To Rose Run Yvette, $240, $210. 3 No Place to Hide, $250. $2 exact or $11.80. Dollar try, $7.40. And the dollar pick three, $19.20. The dollar win for $124.65. Dollar pick five, $979.45. Dollar high five, $457.30. The fifth race for a finish in the top is a 923-156-487. That's 923-156-487 on the bottom.
In the Grand River Winner's Circle, Battle of the Bells, 2 eliminations are in the books. We're ready to draw the post positions for the final. That'll be contested next Monday afternoon. $138,400 will be the purse, part of our huge Industry Day program. Joined alongside Tony O'Sullivan and Jim Gillespie from the Mohawk Race Office, which, of course, this year they started as helping us out as well and running our race office. So they're here to draw. A couple of things already took place. Top 4 finishers from each elim make their way in. 1 fifth-place finisher drawn by lot will get in. That happened to be Cheese Party from race number 4. Cheese Party is that 5th-place finisher to draw into the field of 9. Raffle winner becomes also eligible number 1. Then we also drew the 2 6th-place finishers to see who becomes also eligible 2. That happened to be Wicked Weather from race number 3. So 2 elimination winners, Pass Line and Collusion Hanover. They will draw post position 1 to 5. We'll first draw a name here, Jimmy, and see who gets to draw first. And it is Collusion Hanover. Collusion Hanover for Luke Blais, Determination Louis Waugh. Post position 1. Post position 1 for Collusion Hanover. And we'll have our main man Tom putting these up on the board here. Pass Line, of course, will be the next one. And Pass Line draws post position number 4. So the elimination winners, Collusion Hanover, goes post position 1, obviously very ideal here, and Pass Line drawing post position number 4. Now we've got the rest of them into the open draw. That'll draw the remaining post positions for the field of 9. Again, post 9 will be the second tier. So let's pull our first name, Jimmy. We've got T.H. Jackie's Legacy. Post position 9. Second tier, post position 9 for the Cullen pupil, T.H. Jackie's Legacy, who is 4th in race number 3. Post position 9, Tom. Up next, we've got Cheese Party, the 5th place finisher to draw in, and gets post position number 5. Cheese Party, post position 5. For Kyle Bossens. Greatest Pleasure draws post position number 2. Post position 5 there, Tom, for Cheese Party. Greatest Pleasure will be our next one. Greatest Pleasure second. Another one for Luke Blais. Of course, a winner and a runner-up finish for him. Greatest Pleasure was post position number 2. Oops. Thanks there, Tony. Okay, next up, How Much? Post position 8. Somebody had to get it. Post position 8 for How Much? The All Bets Off filly. All bets off as well with Pass Line as well. Last year, big plans from that first crop of All Bets Off, getting the win in the Battle of the Bells. How Much? Post position number 8. So a couple more to go here. Peeler. Peeler gets post position 3. Peeler from the Hall of Famer Bob McIntosh's barn. Was 4th in her elimination. 2 more to go here, guys. We've got Bonita's Best Bet. Post 6 for Bonita's Best Bet. Benita's best bet, second for Dave Maneri. Another all bets off filly. And the last one, Past a Delight to confirm it. And post position number 7. Post position 7 for Past a Delight, who was third. Did I miscount? I must have. Tom doesn't have enough pins for the rest of it. Well, there, we'll put it up temporarily. So, from the rail out for the Battle of the Bells to be contested on our huge Industry Day program next Monday afternoon, first post at 12:30. Collusion Hanover from the rail. Greatest Pleasure post 2. Peeler post 3. Pass Line post 4. Cheese Party post 5. Benita's Best Bet the 6. Past a Delight 7. How Much 8. TH Jackie's Legacy 9. And the also eligibles number 1 raffle winner and also eligible 2 is Wicked Weather. That, ladies and gentlemen, your field for the Battle of the Bells final. 138,000 plus next Monday. Still plenty of action to go, including 2 eliminations for the Battle of Waterloo. We'll draw that final after the limbs are complete. We'll do that after race number 9. Up next, though, race 6 and the start of the late pick 5.
Field 4 race number 6 on parade. 1 Scrappy, Jody Jameson for Carl Jameson and Brian Paquette and George Harrison. Number 2, Full of Personality, Sylvain Filion for Desiree Jones and Gino Toscani. 3 is Michelob Ultra, Doug McNair for Greg McNair and Dr. Chris Robson and Fred Wolford and Lisa DeRoche. For his Queen of the Deck, Lauren House for Scott McNiven and Kimberly McNiven and Thomas Broadhurst and Brad McNiven and Doug Haywood. 5 is Some Wicked, Blair Burgess, driving and training and owning. Number 6 is Scratched. Number 7, Shocho's Fire, Sylvan Lakai for Kelly Duval Lakai and Largo Incorporated. And number 8 is Black to Reality, Brett McDonough for Richard Moreau and Ken Middleton Jr. and Nora Parks and Jeffrey Seibel and James Grant. Field of 7, race number 6. Let's get a look at this field. And right away, number 4, Queen of the Deck at 7 to 1. One that's made 3 breaks in the last 4 starts, but the one that didn't make a break was third, and that's a race that T.H. Jackie's Legacy was victorious. We've seen that one already race a little earlier.
Yeah, saw that one raced earlier in the Battle of the Bells eliminations and make the final. So the thing is for me, Gary, about this one is I thought we want to find some value in this race. I thought it looked kind of, wide open on paper to me. I watched all the replays and see right now the price on Michelob Ultra, one that a lot of money coming for that first time starter. But Queen of the Deck for me, I watched those replays and I was pretty impressed with that third place finish here. One that kind of did a lot of work from off the pace, was wide for a bit of it, and did her job to kind of get into third on that occasion. 28-4 second last quarter, and the thing is for me is the next start I thought it was maybe moving okay on the outside before making that miscue. No chance last time. Obviously, you don't always want to jump on one that's made a couple of breaks and only gets to survive, having to qualify 2 on off track for the miscue 2 back. But you know what? I just thought there's room for her to improve tonight. I like the pre-race appearance right now, and I think she might end up in the right spot if she can mind her manners. So there's some value that you get built in with those miscues that maybe scare people away. And I think that if I'm going to take a shot on one in here, I'm going to go with one that I think has ability and can get the better of these if she does go out there and stay flat this time out.
I'm getting a bit of a value play on one Scrappy. I didn't think Black to Reality would be 8 to 5. Scrappy does have some gate speed inside.
Yeah, Black to Reality gets helped out by the scratch of the 6. There's no doubt about that. And Scrappy, we've seen speed from this one, 2 back at Mohawk Park, gets to the lead on the backside, has the lead to the 3/4 pole. Pretty good, marker too, 126-1. So you've got to think that speed should be good enough for her to translate into good things here. It's a free-legged pacer, by Stag Party. And last time out, no real chance at any point at Sarnia. Got beat by a real wide margin, but gets reunited with Jody Jameson. I think we're going to see this one fired up early from the pole position and maybe can run this field off their feet. But I don't know. I wasn't convinced in watching that replay. But 3 to 1's a much better price than I expected. I thought she would take a lot more support than that.
Number 2, Full of Personality, is one that you saw qualify a couple of times here in June, then went south of the border, but now is back.
Yeah, the qualifier I thought was decent, getting up by a head in 58-4. The efforts down there, it's the equivalent of the grassroots, right? Stallion Series in Pennsylvania is the equivalent of our OSS grassroots, and never really a factor last time. 5th the time before that, both beaten by a wide margin. This is obviously a softer group for her to go up against, and like I said, the qualifier was a decent one where she sat the 2-hole for much of the mile before getting up by a head on the end of it against DA Cinnamon Crunch. So I think that with the right kind of trip, she's got a chance in here. She gets Sylvan Fillion aboard, and 5 to 1's not the worst price in the world.
Number 8, Black to Reality, is getting a lot of love. Certainly she's looked good here, but late last race didn't look quite as good with those breaks.
No, and I think that came, though, from trying to chase a winner that was just really good on that occasion, right? Hot Tub, Pop and Bubbly. Now, the thing that swayed me away from her completely tonight for the top 3 anyways was the fact that she had the 8-hole. Now she moves in a spot. Now we talk about these these races for youngsters. Sometimes it's easier to launch off the outside of the gate, and she's showing a lot of early foot. So we might see her do that tonight. Clearly second best last time to Hot Tub, Pop and Bubbly was probably going to be within about just, a length or 2 over at the wire. She didn't make that miscue. Price is too short for me at 9 to 5, though. She's one of 4 on my pick 5 ticket. In that pick 5 ticket that I marked out, I'm using the 1, 2, 4, and 8. Michelob Ultra, though, the 3, though, Gary, took support throughout the betting. First time starter for Greg McNair.
Yeah, and is down to 4 to 1, but you do have a nice price in for Queen of the Deck at 7 to 1. I'm on the inside with one Scrappy at 3-1 and Jody Jamieson taking up their position. Scrappy, full of personality. In the center, Michelob Ultra, Queen of the Deck, and Some Wicked to the outside. JoJo's Fire and Black to Reality. It's a field of 7. It's race number 6. Here they come. And the field for race number 6, gathering speed. There at the start of the rough is Scrappy, Michelob Ultra, and Full of Personality, the first 3. Black to Reality is leaving into the front 4. They work on around the turn. Then it is Some Wicked on the inside, now 4th, and then racing 5th is Black to Reality. Queen of the Deck is back there 6th, and then JoJo's Fire. But Scrappy dropped down to 7-5 on the board and has the lead for Jody Jamieson. Full of Personality is filling the pocket. Michelob Ultra is 3rd. Then Some Wicked is racing position to 4th as they work their way past the quarter at 29-2. Black to Reality is 5th and is currently about 9 lengths black of the leader. And then it is back to Queen of the Deck and JoJo's Fire. And they're race the way off the turn, and Black to Reality steps to the outside quickly now. It is Scrappy who's got the lead for Jody Jamieson, looks for a second panel breather, Full of Personality, filling the pocket as they come up towards the half, and on the outside, Black to Reality, and now Michelob Ultra popped out from 3rd. Black to Reality is spotted 2nd over, half 59-4, 30-2 second panel. And it is Scrappy, Michelob Ultra on the outside, but right now still 2nd is Full of Personality. Michelob Ultra on the outside advancing, and Black to Reality is racing 4th. And then Queen of the Deck is kicked in and is moving with authority now. Then it is back to Some Wicked and JoJo's Fire, but Scrappy continues to march on the lead. That lead, though, is shrinking, and now Michelob Ultra is moving up on the outside and is only about a head off the lead. It is Scrappy and Michelob Ultra, and then racing 3rd, Full of Personality, 3/4, 128-4, and Scrappy trying to turn back Michelob Ultra and has a lead of a length as they turn for home. Full of Personality, Black to Reality, and Queen of the Deck on down the stretch drive they come. Scrappy and Double J as they come on down the stretch drive. Scrappy is driving sharply to the finish and is going to turn back Michelob Ultra, then Full of Personality, and Queen of the Deck picks up 4th, and then Black to Reality, 158-1. Scrappy used that post-1 advantage and, well, knew what to do with it, Rob.
She sure did, and we talked about, this horse tripping the 3/4 pole at Mohawk Park at 126-1 and then getting tired on the end of it. Well, 128-4 looks a lot better here, doesn't it, for her? And I mean, that early lead, kind of just pushed out of there and had enough speed where she kind of just inherited the early lead off the gate. Second quarter breather. And then kind of puts the invisible shield up late here before pacing away. Michelob Ultra, I thought, made a decent challenge first over, and then chased gamely to the wire. Obviously, this horse is still learning her trade, right? First start of her life for Greg McNair, and his first-time starters here at the River have been racing fantastic as of late. And Full of Personality, 2-hole trip, throughout and just kind of faded back a little bit, but still maintained the show spot. But you're right, Gary. You were right about this one. Scrappy just kind of overpowered them, right? There just really wasn't much else to be said about that one. Went to the lead early, asserted her dominance over this group, and wins pretty handily in the end.
Yeah, and although the one thing I take out of this race probably the most is that we're going to hear, I think, a lot from Michelob Ultra.
Oh, I think so too. First career start, your first over, you're at a pace disadvantage, obviously. They came home pretty good in that one, right? Good back half, and this one's kind of, chasing gamely, kind of draws up, near to even. And then when she gets put away, though, she didn't quit. That's what I liked about it. When Scrappy kind of ran away from them in the stretch, she kind of re-engaged and chased the target to the wire. So I like that effort there. And like I said, Greg McNair's firsters around these parts, especially lately, have been looking really good. And we don't want to ignore any of them, especially when he's got his son Doug up driving. This time of year is Greg McNair's season. That's at Grand River Raceway. You know what, Queen of the Deck for me, I'll come back to that one again. I'm probably getting ahead of myself on that one, maybe going to her a little bit too early. But flat line now to work with, and I thought she made a decent account of herself to get 4th anyways.
And those top 4, 1-3-2-4. Coming back in front of us is number 1, Scrappy, a 2-year-old Stag Party Bay filly. owned by Carl Jamieson and Brian Paquette and George Harrison. Carl Jamieson is the trainer. Jody Jamieson, winning driver. And also out trackside, Chet Jamieson. First win for Scrappy, 158 and 1. Also out trackside along with Jamieson, Sierra Jamieson, as we see Sierra down in the winner's circle as well. The sixth race payouts: one Scrappy 480, 330, 243, Michelob Ultra 750 and 330 and 2. Full of personality, $270, $2 Exander, $32.80, $1 Try, $36.65, $1 Super, $118. The sixth race, order of finish from the top down: 1, 3, 2, 4, 6, scratch 7, 5. That's 1, 3, 2, 4, 6, scratch 7, 5.
Scrappy getting the job done in race number 6 as the favorite. Probably many alive in that late pick 5 wager, but whether you are or not, it's time for the late pick 4 starting right here in race number 7 and running right through to our finale tonight in race 10. Low takeout on these multi-leg wagers, pick 4s and pick 5s, always a low 15%. And there's my ticket. We're playing it kind of tight tonight. Playing it a little bit tight here in this late pick 4. I love a horse on the end of it. I think it can be a big favorite, but no doubt my singles in race number 10. Right here, though, in the first elimination for the Battle of Waterloo, 2 deep with the 1, always a thrill, and the 2, crush, kill, destroy. Surprisingly, 3-1 and 4-1 on the board right now. All the action going on Manhawk at 8-5. A little bit surprised by that, but 2 deep for me in this first elimination. Second elimination, 2 deep again, and do better. The 6 is likely going to take all the support there. I'm going to throw in the 2 McWicked time. Just thought that he has a little bit more there than what he's shown so far at Mohawk Park. Maybe he'll like getting to the shorter track after winning his second lifetime start at Rito Carlton. So 2 deep for me in race number 8, 2 and 6. Obviously, do better's got to be on the ticket, but he's going to get bet off the board in there. I'm pretty sure he'll be a hefty favorite. Race number 9. 2-6 again for me. The 2 Royal Renegade has won 2 in a row over this surface at this level. The 1 to beat again likely, but the 6 choreographer is interesting. I think he's one that you cannot ignore, and they're getting in for the price of $14,000. Second in his last 2 at Georgian Downs, and more than capable of maybe giving that one a run for his money. So 2 deep, the 2 and 6 for me in race 9, and 3 Ideal Perception, my single in the finale. He gets back down in class. More importantly, goes from post 8 to post 3, and this is where we usually see him go zoom right to the lead. And I think he will run that group off their feet in there and convert at a very short price. What else is pretty short in the price? The cost of that ticket, just $1.60 for a 20-cent wager. Curious to see what Conley has for the late pick 4 sequence. There's his right there, 1 and 2. So we agree in the opener, just the 1 and 2 to work with here in the first leg. And then he's singling the 6 do better. No surprise there. I mean, I almost did as well. I just said, you know what? There's a horse I've been chasing week after week. I'll throw in McWicked time and maybe he can get the upset. Race 9, he's going the 1, 2, and 5. So he isn't using the 6 choreographer, but we are, together on the 2 Royal Renegade. Race 10, though, he's going to try to beat Ideal Perception. 3, 4, 5, and 7. I think Ideal Perception's a slam dunk there, but Conley's going to, you know what? He's going to try to beat him. And you know what? To get a big price in that sequence, you probably have to beat Ideal Perception. If you don't beat Do Better, if you're singling Do Better, you almost have to go against Ideal Perception to give yourself any chance. But you've got a couple of minutes to map out your winning wagers for this late pick 4 sequence. Again, the takeout's always a low 15%. And we'll come back in just a few moments to take a closer look at the first elimination for the Battle of Waterloo.
Field 4, race number 7, Battle of Waterloo, first elimination 1. Always a thrill. Bob McClurfer, Bob McIntosh, and Dave Boyle and Barden Stables. Number 2 is Crush Kill Destroy, Tyler Borth for Per Engblom and Evans Nation. And 3 is Stopwatch, Doug McNair for Greg McNair and Jim Newton and Bloomingwood Farm and Paul Kidd. Number 4 is Manhawk. It's James McDonough for Scott McEnany and M&L of Delaware. And 5 is Max Patrick, Jody Jameson for Gabriella Sasso and Jeffrey Corchens in Mart West Racing. Field of 5, the first elimination battle of Waterloo, and the tote board has been bouncing around. We do have a little bit of a status now with One Always a Thrill, but it's been kind of interesting watching the tote board run.
Yeah, it has been, hasn't it? I mean, it's one of those ones where I kind of had to make sure I was in the right race when I first saw the 1 and 2 were both pretty, significant prices out of the, out of the gate from the wagering, and the 4 Manhawk took all the early money. Now he's up to 7-2. Always a Thrill now down to 2-1, and I think Rail Control. That's obviously a big thing in his favor. And last time, post 9, rocketed out to the lead, had a healthy margin throughout before getting run down by Enforcer. And you just have to think that this one's going to love the pole position here at the river and play catch me if you can, or at least try to. There he is right now, scoring down with the that Bob McIntosh look, doesn't he? And always a thrill for me. 6-5 now. I mean, now we're getting real short, Gary. I mean, we saw a price earlier that was obviously much too high, but now we're down to 6-5 and approaching odds on.
And that inside control probably matters even more in a field of 5 and especially when you're trying to get into a final, because you can get left alone on the lead.
It does, yeah. I mean, it's one of those things where, especially here, we got top 4 making it, and 1 fifth-place finisher is going to be drawn in as well. So we do see sometimes these shorter fields are ones where there's not a lot of action. It's kind of a driver's race, and I'd certainly rather have the one chopping it out. But sometimes we haven't seen that happen at the river this year. But tonight, I think that that'll be the MO. But there's a horse right there, Crush, Kill, Destroy, Gary. That's some serious intent on the score down by Tyler Borth. I think we know what direction he wants to go in off the switch. Last time, no chance from post 8, getting away 9th off the gate in the gold. He looks really fired up out there.
And he also finished that gold pretty well.
He did 26-4 in the end of it, big back half. And again, we talked about this earlier tonight. You kind of want to typically be backing horses that are finishing brave, and this one certainly fits that bill. And before that too, not a bad effort to be third to Chain Gang and a gold. So I mean, you look at this one's career so far: 2 starts, a third and a fourth at the OSS gold level. Now draws inside. Clearly shows that he's got a little bit of go out there and speed that we're probably going to see on display in the early stages. And I think, the lineup for me, I'd looked at this race and thought that they should kind of line up in order, but maybe Crush, Kill, Destroy tries to outleave Always a Thrill.
And Stopwatch flashes early speed last time out.
He did, yeah, from post 7, and he went a long way on the engine before getting run down by Wikipedia, who came from a different planet in that contest to win it. Kind of got leg weary late. Obviously, you see the back half there after going 55-4, which is obviously a pretty solid clip for a 2-year-old. It kind of got leg weary in the late stages, and first lifetime start, was left with a lot of work to do before coming home decently. And then obviously took a lot more support in his follow-up effort. I didn't know, what kind of trip he's going to get tonight. I mean, can he outleave the inside, the 2 to his inside? I'm not sure he can. He might end up getting away third and kind of, hoping for the best, but certainly capable enough. I mean, that last effort was good enough that I think he can be right there with these with the right kind of trip.
What do you make of Manhawk? Because he certainly has a big turn of foot, but also he's got some brakes.
He does. I got lucky in his lifetime debut. I picked him on top at Mohawk Park, and one of those ones where, you back into it. And it doesn't, sometimes it feels a little better when you back into it. You think you're a loser, and all of a sudden you're a winner. And since then, a couple of breaks in stride. You see that big recovery, though, 26-2 to be 4th in his latest start in a grassroots, then a big qualifier over the surface over a track that was 2 seconds off. So I just didn't think he could go with the top 2 selections, the 1 and 2. But, maybe he can. I mean, he took a lot of support. I think, smaller share of it at best for me.
Well, right now, you're always a thrill is even money in my top 1. Crush, Kill, Destroy. is 2-1, the second choice. As they take up their positions, Always a Thrill, Crush, Kill, Destroy on the inside. In the center, Stopwatch into the outside, Manhawk and Max Patrick. Field 5. Race number 7. They're turning into the stretch drive, the first elimination for the Battle of Waterloo. Field of 5, race number 7, elimination number 1. They're at the start in the rough, and Stopwatch is going to bolt out, Crush, Kill, Destroy. Well, his chances are definitely destroyed there in terms of winning with that early break. But right now, it is Stopwatch who's going to grab the lead. Always a Thrill is racing second, Manhawk third, Max Patrick fourth, and Crush, Kill, Destroy is now fifth. And Stopwatch at 6-1 has got the lead as they race on up to the opening quarter. Always a Thrill dropped to 4-5 on the board and is 2 lengths off the front. Manhawk is racing third. Then Max Patrick and Crush, Kill, Destroy is trailing now, and they work their way on past the opening quarter in 29-4, and the first Battle of Waterloo elimination leading Stopwatch right now by about a length and 3/4. Always a Thrill second, Manhawk third, and then racing fourth is Max Patrick, and Crush, Kill, Destroy is trailing the field. Stopwatch has the lead for Doug McNair. Always a Thrill is right there biting time of the pocket. Manhawk third, Max Patrick and Crush, Kill, Destroy. 1 minute, 1/5 the halftime, and they work their way on into the backstretch, and it is still Stopwatch, and Always a Thrill, and Manhawk's racing third. There goes Max Patrick to the outside, and Crush, Kill, Destroy is racing still fifth, and now coming on the outside, Max Patrick is quickly moving up on the outside and is taken over second and is trying to bear down on Stopwatch. It is Stopwatch, and on the outside, Max Patrick, and on the inside third, Always a Thrill. 3/4, 129-3. Max Patrick has broken stride, and it is Stopwatch who's got the lead. Always a Thrill on the outside is trying to collar Stopwatch. Stopwatch on the inside. Always a Thrill on the outside. They're going to settle things on down the stretch where they come. Stopwatch on the inside. Always a Thrill chasing on the outside. Always a Thrill is going to take the Battle of Waterloo elimination number 1. Stopwatch a very game second. Crush, Kill, Destroy was able to come on and get third. And then Manhawk fourth, 157-2. We got to see a big burst of speed on down the stretch by Always a Thrill.
Yeah, we did. It was, listen, it kind of it was, I think, maybe going to go according to plan, Gary, with the 1 and 2 blasting it other. Stopwatch left well, really strongly as well. But then, of course, Crush, Kill, Destroy made that costly break in stride, right off the gates and put himself in a deep hole. And then, Stopwatch, comes around for the lead and covers up Always a Thrill in the 2 hole. And the break in stride from Max Patrick ended up obviously, giving Bob McClure the room to kind of come out a little sooner and give him more time to run down that pace setter, or else maybe Stopwatch gets home there. But Always a Thrill. I mean, that's a good little effort on the end of that mile to bang home strongly and look good doing it. But Stopwatch, went a long way on the engine, and like you mentioned, Crush, Kill, Destroy might be one to come back to, because obviously it's a short field, but still made a decent recovery to finish third.
And should note that the inquiry sign is up, and that does pertain to that break in stride at the start of Crush, Kill, Destroy. We saw that one warming up, wanting to flash speed, but just kind of burst off the gate a little too quickly and made that break, but certainly one to keep an eye on.
Yeah, he was. I mean, really fired up before the race. I mean, we saw that, and that sometimes they get a little too fired up, especially these youngsters out there. Just third start of his life, made that break in stride, but again, made a good recovery. But take nothing away from the winner. That was a good effort on the end of that mile there, and he's one that with a favorable draw might get spotted in a nice spot again. Bob McIntosh, set to have himself a nice Battle of Waterloo if he can get the favorite home in the next.
Back in front of us is the winner of race 7, Always a Thrill, 2-year-old Better's Delight Bay Gelding, owned by Bob McIntosh and Dave Boyle and Barton Stables. Bob McIntosh, the trainer, and prime time, Bob McClure with the driving double. Always a Thrill, 157-2, another win for prime time.
First Battle of Waterloo elimination presented by Winback Farms goes to Always a Thrill. Bob McClure for the Hall of Famer Bob McIntosh. Bob, I mean, you've had an opportunity to drive this colt now in a couple of starts. One where you stalked, one where you were on the front. Tonight you got to follow again with him. Is that maybe his preferred style?
No, he should have won on front last time. I don't think this colt has any preferences. He'll do whatever you want. It was a bad trip last time. I went to the front. I could have gotten a lot easier fractions. Instead, I don't know. I let him roll right along. If he gets cheaper fractions, he wins last week. But tonight off a helmet, he snaps off a helmet good. He doesn't do a thing wrong. He's just a real handy colt.
You know, they weren't going much up front, Dougie, on the lead. Were you tempted to maybe pull on him, or you just you know what, he'll take me where I need to be?
I was tempted. If winners had to pick their post, maybe I would have come 5/8 full, but I was okay. If we had been second, it wouldn't have been the worst thing. But luckily, we got a chance to get out, and he took care of the rest.
You're familiar with this family. I know Beyond Better. Obviously, you've raced against some of the others in here. It just seems to be a family keeps producing here for Bob.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Dr. Joe, Beyond Better, they're both fast horses. They're not quite as handy as Big Plans in this colt are, though. These two, they're pretty push button, and this is a good spot to be push button.
Like most nights, you're doing your job great. As for the bells, you got both fillies you drove into the final. You've got Peeler, you've got How Much. Tell me if you want. Do you know who you're taking, and what can you say about both of them?
Peeler's the reason I came, and I've been driving Peeler all along. She's a sweet little ride. I think there's a lot more than what she's showed the last couple of weeks. Her first few starts, I was really impressed, and then I know she's having a couple health issues, so I'm hoping that maybe in a week she'll be even sharper than she was tonight.
Nice job, Bob.
Thank you.
All right, there's Bob McClure. Always a Thrill, a 157 and 2 sprints home to get the win in the first Battle of Waterloo, presented by Winback Farms Elimination.
And note the inquiry on number 2, Crush, Kill, Destroy. The judge's ruling did not violate the braking regulations. Also note, race 9-1 journalistic. The driver will be Samuel Filyaw. Race 9-1 journalistic. Samuel Filyaw will drive. The 7th race payouts, 1 Always a Thrill, $3.90, $2.60, $2.10. 3 Stopwatch, $4.70, $2.10. 2 Crush, Kill, Destroy, $2.10. $2 exactor, $25.10. Dollar Try, $22.70. Dollar Super, $57.35. The seventh race, so for a finish from the top down, is a 1-3-2-4-5. That's 1-3-2-4-5. Fans noted race 9, number 2, Royal Renegade. 2 claims entered. A pair of claims on 2 Royal Renegade in the 9. Field on parade for race 8, the Battle of Waterloo, second elimination. Number 1, Chalk Hanover, Bob Glover, Dave Maneri, and Maneri Racing, and Anthony Timmons. Number 2, McWicked Time, James Madonna, Robbie Robinson, and Jacqueline Donnell. 3 is Enforcer, Doug McNair for Greg McNair, Aaron Waxman, and Alan Alber, and David Jarvis. And number 4 is Aaron Wood Big Rig, Jody Jameson for Carl Jameson, and Trevor Edwards and Harry Loyans. Number 5 is Caribbean Sports, Trevor Henry for Robert Kyle Fellows and Windermere Stable. And number 6, Do Better, Sylvan Fillion for Bob McIntosh and Al McIntosh and Barton Stables. Field of 6. Race number 8, the Battle of Waterloo, second elimination. And right away, number 2, McWicked Time, James McDonald for Robbie Robinson. And Rob, I love the idea of you taking a shot to take down the favorite. And McWicked Time, wicked final quarter last time out.
Yeah, it sure was. And you know what? I've been on this horse, Gary, and the Horse Players Journal in each of his last 2. So it's hard for me to go off him here, right? 2-1, 2 back. Didn't really have much of a chance. Came home 26-4 last time. Got put in the same predicament. You know, outside draw. Had a lot of work to do. 25-4 on the end of it. I mean, this horse showed some serious gears. I mean, 25-4 obviously tells you that, but if you saw it visually, it was even more impressive. Did disappoint at 70 cents the dollar, and a nominal is a 5,000 life race, but I think he might prefer the short track. I mean, that win at Rito Carlton was ultra impressive. Won by nearly 14 lengths and 56 flat. Looks sharp on the track right now. James McDonald for the first time. I didn't expect this much support. I mean, he was bet heavily early. Still taking support right now at 3-1. But I thought it might be worth it to take a shot against the heavy favorite here. He's got a post edge as well. And you know this horse is a much bigger number in the multi-leg wagers.
And as you said, it heavy favorite, and Do Better is not likely to come up higher on the tote board, maybe even go lower. 3 for 3. And look, big turn of foot, 51-3 to win. So obviously Do Better's legit.
Yeah, and he looks fantastic out there right now. And it's not like I'm slighting Do Better by picking McWicked Time. You know that. I'm looking for a better price, right? We're looking for a situation where we might be able to get a better number down, and McWicked Time offers something that Do Better can't, and that's a decent number on the board. 7-2 now for that one versus the 3-5 of Do Better. 3 for 3 in his career, and kind of that progression you love to see, right? Wins and nominals a 5,000 life race, and then wins in the middle ranks of the Ontario program in the grassroots, does so handily, and then steps right up to the gold, right back to the winner's circle from post 9. So no reason to think he can't get around a half. Works from the uttermost post in the contest. I just thought there was value elsewhere, and we know this one's going to be odds on come post time.
And then the other one that's taking at least a bit of action here in terms of trying to track down Do Better is 3 Enforcer, and you just saw that one score out a little bit.
Yeah, love the score down here. Team McNair, right? Like we said, this is their time of year to come to play at Grand River. And I think this one raced really well last time to get the better of Always a Thrill. Good form reference, right? We just saw that one go out there and score over another McNair pupil. And I think that this is one that's in with a chance. And I mean, to me, like when you first look at it on paper, you would say, okay, well, this should be 6-3-3-6. But McWicked Time been racing a lot, even better than the paper shows, and that's why I went to that one on top. But Enforcer can certainly make his presence felt in here.
And number 5, Caribbean Sports, beaten less than 4 lengths to Do Better last time out, and 52-2 his own mile.
Yeah, this is one actually. There was a card that ended up getting canceled that I had him pegged on top in the Horse Players Journal, and just an overnight race. Came back, picked up a share in each of those OSS Gold events to begin his career, and I was really fond of the qualifier actually, July the 4th. So I think this horse is certainly sitting on some ability, and maybe with the right kind of trip can make his way into the exotics anyways. I mean, he's fourth choice on the board right now with three horses that are taking the bulk of the support, but I do think that with the right kind of journey, he might even be able to get ahead of one of those to maybe increase the value in the Trier Super.
Well, right now, number 6, Do Better, is 4 to 5 on the board. McWicked Time has dropped all the way down to 2 to 1. We'll see how it unfolds here, but it is the second elimination battle of Waterloo. And on the inside, it'll be Chalk Hanover with McWicked Time. In the center, Enforcer and Aaron Wood Big Rig. And to the outside, Caribbean Sports and Do Better. It's a field of 6. It's race number 8. It is post time. Field for the second elimination battle of Waterloo. There at the start of the rough, Enforcer, Aaron Wood Big Rig, and Caribbean Sports, and then Chalk Hanover, and then it is Do Better, McWicked Time. They work their way on around the turn. Enforcer has got the early lead, but Caribbean Sports continues on, and Caribbean Sports now on the outside is trying to drive up and sport the early lead. Enforcer is now filling the pocket, and Do Better now is starting to roll on the outside, and Aaron Wood Big Rig is racing fourth, and now Enforcer is going to loop back around and grab the lead from Caribbean Sports with Do Better on the outside. Now racing second and continuing to march. And it is Do Better who's going to come on and get the lead now. Enforcer second. Caribbean Sports is third. Then Aaron Wood Big Rig, Chalk Hanover, and McWicked Time is back trailing the field, and it is Do Better. And Sylvan Fillion, 3 to 5 betting favorite, 27-4 opening quarter. Do Better's got a lead of about 2 lengths right now over Enforcer. Caribbean Sports is third. Chalk Hanover's on the outside fourth. Half was 57-2 at 29-3 second panel. Aaron Wood Big Rig is on the inside, taking the short way around the turn. McWicked Time is advancing on the outside. Now as past one as Aaron Wood Big Rig is back to trailing the field. Do Better's got the lead. Do Better, Enforcer, Chalk Hanover. McWicked Time on the outside shares fourth with Caribbean Sports, and then it is back to Aaron Wood Big Rig. Do Better heading up to 3/4. Enforcer is back up tighter in the pocket, and they roll by 3/4, 127-3. And now Do Better is starting to sprint away a little bit. Opens up a lead of about 2 1/4. Enforcer, Chalk Hanover on the inside, Caribbean Sports, McWicked Time, and Aaron Wood Big Rig. It is Do Better, Enforcer on down the stretch route. They come in the second battle of Waterloo elimination, and Do Better continues on, and Do Better is doing very strongly at the finish to win. Enforcer second. Then third was Chalk Hanover, and fourth McWicked Time came flying late to pick up that fourth position. Mile of 156 flat. Do Better looked like he could do whatever he wanted.
He did. You know what, Gary? I mean, obviously the fractions certainly dictate that as well. 27-4 on the top end. A lot of action early. I mean, there was action, in the early stages of that mile. It wasn't like the lead was gifted to him from post 6, but middle half a minute. I mean, it's lights out at that point. And you know what? When I initially looked at this race, I remember I said, you look at this race, you say it should just be 6-3, 3-6 till the cows come home. Well, that's what it ended up being. Maybe I got a little creative with McWicked Time, and I was hoping we'd see more from him tonight. He got away last off the gate. Obviously, the pace is advantage, but he was spotted second over and really couldn't, come forward all that much on the end of the mile. Couldn't even get past the horse that he was following. So one that I'll continue to kind of tab going forward. But yeah, no match for the likes of Do Better, and for that matter, Enforcer. We see now, back-to-back races where Bob McIntosh gets the victory and Greg McNair comes in second. So it should be interesting to see how this plays out now in the final, with each of them having a pair in the Battle of Waterloo.
And of course, also, if you're trip handicapping, you're wondering what 6 Do Better does from the outside. But when you've got that much power, the other horses have to show you that kind of respect. And Sylvan took his time getting up to the lead.
Yeah, I think when you've got a handy racehorse like that one, I mean, we've seen that one go to the lead, and obviously each of his last two. But I mean, that's just a lot of faith in the horse you're driving, right? Just kind of stay out there and keep on driving towards the lead. And he did so very professionally. I mean, he's now 4 for 4 to start his career, and there's a reason for it. I mean, and again, looking every bit of a Bob McIntosh 2-year-old out there. So he's, established himself as the one to beat in the final. There's no question about it. And with a solid post, I mean, head out for them.
It's a 6-3-1-2 top four, and back in front of us is number 6, Do Better. 2-year-old Better's Delight, a big gelding, owned by Bob McIntosh and Al McIntosh and Martin Stables. Bob McIntosh, the trainer. Winning drive to Sylvan Filya, 4 for 4 lifetime for Do Better in the win column, mile of 156 flat.
In the books is the Battle of Waterloo eliminations. The second one, presented by Winback Farms, goes to the favorite. Do Better remains undefeated in 4 starts. Sylvan Filion guides the Bob McIntosh trainee. Bob getting both of his horses into the winner's circle, setting himself up for a great weekend. Let's just talk about this colt, though, because he's done everything right. Tonight, though, you had to take a bunch of air early on, but it didn't seem to bother him one bit.
No, not at all. I was just being extra careful going to the first turn. You never know with young babies here on the half for the first time. And once I cleared, he was gone by himself.
I'm just going to say, do you have any trepidation when you bring a horse, not just to a new venue, but to a different size track even?
Yeah, absolutely. In the post braid, I scored him down a bit, and he was pretty good. So I was very pleased with him in the post braid. So I felt confident, but even so, I took my time going to the lead, and it paid off.
I know post 6, 7, and 8, they're pretty tough to navigate here. You're going to be assured of drawing post 1 to 5 with this guy. I mean, does it really matter with him at this point?
You know what? Not really. He does everything you ask him to do, and he's very.
Things, or are you happy to go anywhere with him?
Oh, anywhere. He can race off cover, and he'll blast off cover huge.
I know you've been around this game for a few years. I won't date you, but we keep hearing the talk about Better's Delight. He's been so great on the racetrack and what he's done in the breeding shed. But I mean, this just goes on. And I mean, look at him this year and the 2-year-old that he's producing again.
It's really unreal. He really improved Ontario breeding, and he's still doing it. It's incredible.
For you, I know you're heavily involved with the youngsters, especially the Ontario sired horses. You've done great in the provincial program. But this race has eluded you. What would it mean to you to win the Battle of Waterloo?
It would mean the world to me. I've been trying for years, many years, and I think that's my best shot.
You're well positioned. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
There's Sylvan Filion. Bob McIntosh gets both his horses into the winner's circle for the Battle of Waterloo, presented by Winback Farms. We will have the field drawn. We'll know all the positions after race number 9. Stay tuned for that.
Eighth race payouts, number 6 Do Better, 320, 220, and 263, Enforcer 380, and $3 in one shock handler, $12.30, $2 exactor, $7.70, try, $28.35, $1 super, $75.55. 8th race. Order of finish top down 342-651. That's 342-651. Field for race number 9 on parade 1 is Journalistic Sammy Filya for Jason Sherman and Burton Betty Sherman. Number 2 is Royal Renegade, Brett McDonald for Brett Lester and Rose Smith. Number 3 is All Go No Woe, Jody Jameson for Kenroy Scaife. Four is No Time at All, Paul McKenzie for Terry Gallant and Stacy Smith Robinson. 5 is Cortez the Killer, Austin Sorry for Cameron McQueen and Ron Woodburn. Number 6 choreographer, Scott Kohler for Scott West. Number 7 Redneck Jim, Ryan Ross for Jody Cullen and Paul Sanders. Field of 7, race number 9. Some nice horses in here, but Royal Renegade gets rammed right back into the same class and claiming entering in multiples, and Brett entering this one in for 11,000, which guarantees him an inside post, but also 2 claims entered, Rob.
Yeah, Leonard, I mean, it kind of had to happen, didn't it? I mean, jammed right back in for $11,000 again, and was, I mean, an easy winner last time, even easier than the start before that. Kind of one that gets a little bit soft on the end of his miles. I mean, sometimes, and in that start July 10th got picked up late after doing a lot of the work on the engine. That was against Redneck Jim though, and I think he was a little bit better form than he is right now. And with that inside post again, like you said, Gary, for that lower price tag, getting to work from the inside of the gate is going to help him out, tremendously tonight. Should be able to fire out of there for the early lead again. Brett McDonald aboard this time around. No surprise, he's a favorite at 4-5.
The one that you went to as the main threat is the one the fans agree with is number 6 choreographer. I've seen this one a lot at Flamborough. It's a nice one set up by Scott West.
Yeah, Royal Renegade 42 lifetime victories. Choreographer, 21, so half that, but over 250,000 made. And like you said, he's a nice horse in his own rights. And actually got the better of Royal Renegade. It was back in February in a $15,000 to $20,000 claiming handicap at Mohawk Park. They finished 1-2 on that occasion, both paying decent prices too in that contest. But the choreographer, I think, is more than within his element against this group. Last two were in a condition claimer at Georgian Downs, but that's not your everyday condition claimer, right? That's a non-winners of X amount last few starts or under 100,000 life. So it's not like he's facing off against easy horses in there. And I think this looks like a good spot for him to kind of get launched off the gate and, maybe either, chop it out in front of Royal Renegade or try to sit the 2-hole behind him. No shock. They're both taking the support right now, but I think choreographer is probably a much better number in the multis than he is vertically right now at 8-5.
Then y'all done went to 7 Redneck Jim for third in here despite those last couple races, but he's a really fine horse.
Yeah, I sure did. And the thing is, last time, I mean, he was such an easy winner at this level, July 10th. Then, of course, he goes on and takes on the Legs of Desperate Man with that optional claiming tag of $18,000. He gets used really hard in the early half of that race, fades way out of it. The no chance last time, post 7, gets away 7th off the gate. Never really got put into play. Not that he had a lot of pace late in the mile. Came home in 30-4, but maybe needed another start to kind of recover from stepping up and taking on so much tougher. 9-1 right now. He's the value. I mean, if you just kind of trust the fact that he's going to come back to be the same horse he was July 3rd or July 10th, he can make his presence felt against this group, and 10-1's a monstrous price. So for me, I thought it was going to come down to those two that will likely be kind of forwardly placed here, but not one to leave off the exotics. Maybe worth the win ticket at 9-1.
My second one is 5 Cortez the Killer, but I am a little concerned that has been off 3 weeks, but a lot of speed.
Yeah, and got on the vets list in that start last time out, but was in good form before that. 3 consecutive on the board finishes. Was a winner at Mohawk Park and for $13,000 on June 19th. First start now for Cam McQueen, and certainly respect that bar. And so you got to have him in the mix here. 5-1 on the board. That's probably about the right price, the one you'd have to demand if you're going to play him.
Well, we're both on number 2, Royal Renegade. 2 claims in, 4-5. That is the one that's attracting all of the love, and then choreographer right now as the solid second choice at 2-1. It's Journalistic and Royal Renegade on the inside in the center. All go no woe, no time at all in Cortez the Killer. And to the outside, it is choreographer and Redneck Jim. It's a field of 7 for race number 9. Here they come. They're at the start of the rough. Choreographer, Redneck Jim, Royal Renegade and all go, no woe. Journalistic and then no time at all. And back to Cortez the Killer. Choreographer is trying to waltz right on and get the lead from Royal Renegade. Choreographer is going to clear to the front. Royal Renegade is second. All go, no woe is currently going third. Redneck Jim found a seat to the inside, fourth, and then Journalistic and no time at all. And Cortez the Killer is trailing the field. Royal Renegade now is going to claim the lead, and Choreographer will dance along in the pocket. All go no woe is racing third. Redneck Jim right now, y'all's got fourth, and then it is Journalistic and back to no time at all. And Cortez the Killer, 27-2 the opening quarter. And they race off the turn. Royal Renegade, 3-5 favorite, leading the charge up towards us with Choreographer second. And then on the inside, All Go No Whoa, but now Redneck Jim on the outside is moving up, and then All Go No Whoa is racing fourth, and Journalistic is fifth. To the outside, Cortez the Killer. On the inside, No Time at All, 56 and 3. Halftime, 29 and 1. Second panel for Royal Renegade. And then Choreographer, Redneck Jim. On the outside is racing third, and then I'll go no whoa on the inside, Journalistic, and back to No Time at All. And Cortez the Killer is trailing the field. Royal Renegade, Choreographer, racing second. I'll go no whoa is third. Redneck Jim now backs away, and scooting through to the inside is No Time at All. Then Journalistic and Cortez the Killer, and it is Royal Renegade. Here comes Choreographer on the outside, and Choreographer is sprinting up against Royal Renegade. All Go No Whoa is racing third. They turn for home. Royal Renegade and Choreographer on down the stretch. They coming up the inside is All Go No Whoa. Three across the track. All Go No Whoa is going to go up the inside and win it. Royal Renegade was second, Choreographer third, and then No Time at All. It is All Go No Whoa who had a lot of go late. And 155 and 1. If you're betting the heavy favorite Royal Renegade, you're filled with woe at the finish now, Rob.
Yeah, you are. And, well, it's one of those things where, I mean, obviously getting to move up into that two hole there was what the difference was. I was actually thinking it was just going to sit 2-6 on the turn there, and then we'd see Choreographer, try to come out the passing lane. But when he goes to the outside, that usually gives someone a big opportunity that's sitting behind him, and that was All Go and No Whoa, because at the end of the day, Choreographer doesn't get past Royal Renegade, and then that one comes up the passing lane for the victory at a huge price of 25 to 1 with Jody Jameson aboard. And it was interesting. I interviewed Doug McNair recently about horses coming up the inside, and when a pocket sitter pops out of the two hole early, it usually gives horses a chance that are sitting third, fourth, fifth along the cones. In this case, it was the one sitting right behind that pocket sitter that is able to scoot up the inside right for the victory. I mean, to be honest, it kind of could have worked out any better for All Go and No Whoa at a big price to get the victory here at 25 to 1.
Yeah, you get that little burst of speed because now you got a gap of a length and a half that you can fill, and you can come flying at it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's one of those things where if Choreographer ends up sitting the two hole there, who knows what happens, right? Because now he's even further back to make that burst, and he probably has to angle to the outside and use up a little bit of his energy to do so. Instead, he's able to just find that lane to the inside and shoot the gap, and that really was the difference there. But solid effort from one that certainly I didn't think was without a chance in here, but I did think it was going to come down to a two-horse race. Redneck Jim, by the way, he tried to make a go of it there first over. Just doesn't have the same horsepower he had earlier in the season, Gary.
It's a 3-2-6-4. Top four coming back in front of us is number 3, All Go No Whoa, an 8-year-old dragon again, Bay Gelding, owned and trained by Kenroy Scaife. First win in 2 seasons, 17th lifetime, driving double for Jody Jameson. Ninth race payout 3 all go no whoa 52.60 11.70 and 5.40 Royal Renegade 240 236 choreographer 280 $2 exactor $100 30 dollar try 187.10 superfecta 451.10. Ninth race, order of finish from the top down 6-2-1 4-5-3-7. That's 6-2-1 4-5-3-7. And the claim out of race number 9, number 2 Royal Renegade, the new trainer will be Mitchell Tierney.
Back here in the winner's circle as we get set for the Monday night finale coming up in about 6 minutes. But we've got the Battle of Waterloo presented by Winback Farms. 2 eliminations complete. So Jim and Tony are back along with Mr. Williams as we will get things organized here. So we had 11, 5 and 6. We know that the lone 6th place finisher, which happened to be Aaronwood Big Rig, will be also eligible number 2. That was already determined. Caribbean Sports is also eligible 1, as Max Patrick was that 5th place finisher drawn by lot that got into the final. So we've got Do Better and Always a Thrill, the 2 Bob McIntosh trainees that will draw for post positions 1 through 5. So we've got 1 through 5 for the pills in there, and then Jim, you'll draw the first one here. Who's up first? Do better. Do better. The undefeated son of Better's Delight draws post position 3. Do better post position 3, Tom. Sharp here for Sylvain Filion looking for his first Battle of Waterloo. Always a thrill. Draws post position 5. Post position 5 for the other Macintosh trainee. Always a thrill. The other 7, as all the numbers will be put in there by Tony. We'll draw their positions just randomly here. Post position 5. Always a thrill, post position 5. Okay, up first. We've got Mick Wicked Time. Mick Wicked Time draws post 4. Post 4 for Mick Wicked Time was a closing 4th for James McDonald and Robbie Robinson. Post 4, Mick Wicked Time. Stopwatch. Stopwatch is up next. Finished 2nd. Nice trip for him. Post 6 for Stopwatch. Doug and Greg McNair. Doug McNair, the winningest driver in this race with 5 Battle of Waterloo titles to his credit. Post 6. Post 6 for Stopwatch. Next up, Enforcer. Enforcer gets post 9. Post 9, 2nd tier for Enforcer. Enforcer finishing 2nd as well for Doug and Greg McNair. Again, a ton of success for them in this race. 2nd tier for that son of Big Jim. Crush, Kill, Destroy. Crush, Kill, Destroy made a brief bobble for Per Engblom and Tyler Borth. They draw post 8. Post 8 for Crush, Kill, Destroy. 3 more to go here. Manhawk is up next. Manhawk, 4th for Scott McEnany and James McDonald. Post 7. Post 7 for Manhawk. The son of Stag Party. Got a tour of this oval on July 19th. A couple more to go. We've got Max Patrick. Again, Max Patrick, the 5th place finisher, drawn in by lot. Gets the rail, too. Lucky day for Max Patrick. Rail position in the Battle of Waterloo, post 1. Presented by Winback Farms. And just to confirm it, Chalk Hanover, the last one, and post 2. Post 2 for Chalk Hanover. Chalk Hanover from the rail in his elimination finished 3rd for Bob McClure and Dave Maneri. So that is your field for next Monday's Battle of Waterloo presented by Winback Farms. From the rail out, we've got Max Patrick, Chalk Hanover, Do Better, Mick Wicked Time, Always a Thrill, Stopwatch, Manhawk, Crush, Kill, Destroy, Enforcer. The 2 also eligibles, Caribbean Sports and Aaron Wood Big Rig. It's going to be a huge day. Of course, our signature Industry Day program. First race post time next Monday at 12:30 in the afternoon. 11 races slated to go postward. We've got huge guarantees, 7,500 guaranteed on both pick 4s, the early pick 5, and the super high 5 in the Battle of Waterloo 11th and final race, and a $10,000 guaranteed late pick 5 that gets underway in race number 7. Hopefully you can join us for that. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Tom. Hopefully everybody can come here and join us on Industry Day this coming Monday at 12:30. Up next, though, it's the Monday night finale, race 10 in just a couple of minutes. Good luck.
Field for the 10th on parade. 1, Mr. Cheeseman, Lauren House for Scott McNiven and Donald Douglas. And number 2, JJ Tommy Semi will fill you out for JF McGuire and Andre Paris. And number 3, Ideal Perception, Anthony Hahn for Anthony Beaton and SSG Stables. And number 4, Rose Run Vortex, Paul McKenzie for Terry Gallant and Stacy Smith Robinson. But 5 is Bugsy McGuire, Austin Surrey for Rachel Andrew. There is 4, Rose Run Vortex and Paul McKenzie. Number 6, Ham Sandwich, Steve Houdon for Laura Toscani, and Steve shares in ownership. Number 7, Mr. Beast, Brent McDonough for Brent Lester and Rose Smith. And 8 is Scratch 9, Jordan Dale. It's Nick Stewart for Brian Eckenstein and Debbie Eckenstein. Field of 8, race number 10. This dash features the Super High 5. We'll get a quick look at them. And Rob, every so often when you are looking at a page in the program, when you're doing your picks, you just turn the page, you see the class, you see the post, and you say, okay, Ideal Perception. Let's look at who I like for second. 2 to 5 on the board.
Yeah, it was kind of the way it played out for me too, Gary, because this is always Ideal Perception time, isn't it? You get the better post, and that might be enough. This time, though, he even gets to come down a notch in the class ladder. So last time, 8-hole, got away 8th off the gate, actually made a pretty valiant effort to finish 6th at 99-1, coming a third quarter 26-1. Back half was huge, 54-2. And before that was a winner on the engine. 52-4, a big mile over Bolt Power, the class above this. And every time he kind of, draws back inside, gets to a palatable spot, he's a winner. We were kind of marveling last time, even though 8-hole and against Desperate Man, just wild seeing him go off at almost 100-1, right? When typically we're willing to back him, in that class with a decent post. Obviously didn't have it last time. This time around he does. Looks good on the track right now. Hard to imagine him getting beaten here. Racing back on a regular rotation, too, after missing a week going into his latest.
Yeah, how often would you see a horse go 99-1 last start and now 1-2? 5, Bugsy McGuire is the one that, we went to both for a second best, looking for a 50th career win.
Yeah, I think that Bugsy McGuire looks like when you have to kind of use everywhere in the exotics, because last time, kind of got lost in the mix, got away 4th, kind of got shuffled a bit, ended up coming on, to round out the Superfecta at 9-2, and that was at this level, dropping down to this level. Post 6 on that occasion, does get one better tonight and gets reunited with Austin Story. So I think we're going to see this one leave off the gate. Now, there's a lot of speed to his inside. Obviously, Rose Run Vortex can leave. Of course, Ideal Perception can leave. JJ Tommy might be able to create a little bit of speed from post 2. And, of course, Mr. Cheeseman, he can leave off the gate like a rocket. He's not going to give up too many spots in the pole position. So it'll be interesting to see where Bugsy McGuire gets away. But either way, I think he can, get a big piece of this. And I thought he looked like the most logical one to go to underneath.
Mr. Cheeseman didn't enjoy post 7 here, back-to-back starts, but certainly that last race in Clinton, and you saw that, was a lot better.
Yeah, he was a horse that I used everywhere on that day at Clinton, and kind of just kept driving for the lead. Got there and won with ease. It wasn't a class that you would put alongside this one, but what does he have going for him, Gary? Early speed, and that all-important pole position and a high 5 race, especially the finale. We see it hit so often, and he's a horse that, by all rights can just blast out of there and sit forever and hopefully take down a big chunk of it. And, 20-1 on him right now, to me, is an overlay. I don't think he can win, but I think he's one you have to have everywhere in your high 5. I mean, for me, as high as even second, because the trip might just work out so favorably for him.
And number 2, JJ Tommy, third start off a little bit of a respite, but this is when you see a mile of 51, May 6th, in a pretty solid class at Mohawk, and came home strongly in that one.
Yeah, I think that third start back is definitely going to kind of be in his wheelhouse here. Latest one, I mean, not sure too much. The caliber of horse he's facing, obviously, in that preferred race last time, but yeah, that claiming handicap race, he's facing off against solid rivals in there at Mohawk Park. I think he's overbet right now at 5-1. I think he, by all rights, he can get a piece of this somewhere, and I think inside posts are always important. in the high five races. But 5-1's a bit short in my opinion. I thought he should be closer to the 10-1 range.
And 7, Mr. Beast, despite an outside post, is probably too good to be left off the ticket.
Yeah, especially he's shown some versatility in his racing style. At one point, he was a speedster. Now he's shown he can race from off the pace as well, and I think we might see that from him tonight, obviously from post 7. I can't imagine he's going to try to blast off the gate with the likes of the speed he has. Right direct who's inside, even Ham Sandwich, Bugsy McGuire, and of course Ideal Perception. I think his best path to glory is to try to sit off the speed and try to get a piece of it. I think he can close to get the bottom end of that high five ticket.
Well, right now the fans are in love with Ideal Perception, and both of us love that one as well. 3-5. We don't love the price though. Mr. Cheeseman, JJ Tommy, and Ideal Perception on the inside. In the center, Rose Run Vortex, Bugsy McGuire to the outside, Ham Sandwich and Mr. Beast in the second tier, Jordan Dale. It's a field of 8 for the 10th dash. Field for the 10th and final race into the stretch drive. Here they come. Giddy up. And an early break from Jordan Dale. Ideal Perception blasts out. Ham Sandwich and Bugsy McGuire. And Mr. Cheeseman along to the inside. Ham Sandwich driving with Ideal Perception. Ideal Perception on the inside. Ham Sandwich is still munching ground on the outside. And now wants to take back and try to find the pocket. Ideal Perception 1-5 on the board. Ham Sandwich is on the inside racing second. Bugsy McGuire is racing third. Then Mr. Cheeseman and Rose Run Vortex. Then as they race their way on past that opening quarter, it is further back right now to JJ Tommy, and Mr. Beast is racing position 7th, but it is Ideal Perception. Ham Sandwich has got the pocket. 27 opening quarter for Ideal Perception, and racing third is Bugsy McGuire. They race off the turn. Then on the inside, Mr. Cheeseman, and popping to the outside now comes Rose Run Vortex, being followed by JJ Tommy, and Mr. Beast is trailing the field, and they race their way into the backstretch of a half of 56 and 3, and Ideal Perception. Ham Sandwich at 9-1 is still second on the back of the heavily favored Ideal Perception, and is about 2 1/4 back. Bugsy McGuire is racing third. Mr. Cheeseman fourth. Rose Run Vortex, and then JJ Tommy and Mr. Beast, and they race on to 3/4. Ideal Perception is stepping away on the field. Ham Sandwich will try to hold on to second. Bugsy McGuire on the outside though now is moved up and taken over second. Ideal Perception's gone in the field. Bugsy McGuire will now take second. Rose Run Vortex is third. Ham Sandwich now is weakening, and charging late is JJ Tommy. But Ideal Perception is just coasting at the finish. Bugsy McGuire will be second. Then Rose Run Vortex and JJ Tommy, and Mr. Cheeseman 150, 2 and 4. Ideal Perception just makes it look so easy. Goes to the front, and then it's just a training mile.
Yeah, Death Taxes and Ideal Perception just absolutely crushing in this class from a good post, right? I mean, you saw early on, Gary. I mean, there's some horses that were trying to leave out with him and and maybe try to come around him, hoping for give and go. But Anthony Hahn wanted no part of that. I mean, this horse just excels, at this level and at the top level. These two classes, when he gets down to them, and he gets an inside post to work from, he's just a different animal because he can blast out of there. He gets the lead. He's got incredible foot off the switch. And my oh my, another 52 and 4 mile for this horse. I mean, it's just wild, the stuff the success that he's had over the surface. I mean, every single time he gets into a winnable spot, he converts. And you're right. I was the same way. I looked at this program tonight and said, okay, well, there's a free spot on the bingo card of this card. He really just was. And I mean, somehow the pick 4 and pick 5 are going to pay significant off him because we saw a huge bomb win with All Go and No Woe.
Yeah, the only job for Anthony Hahn past 3/4 is to not fall asleep before they get to the finish.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I said to Anthony the other day, I joked with him saying, he's been driving a lot of real good ones. He's been driving fantastic, on all of them. But he's driving some horses right now that are just so dominant out there. And it must be nice to be able to sit behind these ones. Ideal Perception, St. Lad's Criminal, and others, right? But Ideal Perception, he's made a living at the river in these classes.
It's a 3-5-4-2-1 top five, and back in front of us is number 3, Ideal Perception, 6-year-old American Ideal Bay horse owned by SSG Stables. Anthony Beaton's the trainer. Anthony Hahn, the winning driver, 6th win this year, 22nd lifetime. Ideal Perception, 152-4. The 10th race payouts: 3, Ideal Perception, 270, 220, 230. 5, Bugs McGuire, 380, 294. Rose Run Vortex, $5. $2 exactor, $6.50. Dollar try, 12.10. Double of 3 and 3, $2 ticket, $122. The dollar pick 3, 79.25. Dollar win 4, 161.50. And the dollar pick 5, 396.55. Dollar high 5, 211.35. The 10th race order finish from the top down is a 5-4-1, 3-2-7-6, scratch 8. That's once again from the top down. 5-4-1, 3-2-7-6, scratch 8 on the bottom. Fans, that concludes the live harness racing program for this Monday evening. Action resumes on Wednesday. Our first dash will go to post at 6:30 p.m. Buenas noches, amigos. Good night, everybody. Good night, Christine.